When it comes to road and street course racing in North America, no event carries as much tradition and prestige as the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Here in Southern California, they love their cars and they love their stars. And this three-day racing festival offers the thousands of fans who converge on Long Beach the chance to celebrate both. Legendary names have won here at Long Beach: Andretti, Unser, Sullivan, Zanardi, and Tracy. Today's starting grid includes 6 drivers who have won here and 20 others who look to add their name to the historic list of Grand Prix champions. NBC Sports Network welcomes you to IndyCar Central, presented by Verizon, where we'll set the stage for today's 167-mile race. Here's a look at Shoreline Drive, the fastest part of the racetrack. It's also where the cars will pit and rejoin the race after their pit stops. Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Jenkins. Welcome to the third race of the 2012 IZOD IndyCar Series here at Long Beach. The first 2 races dominated by the Chevy engines. They have won both poles and both races. However, a setback for Chevy this past week. James Hinchcliffe, in a test at Sonoma, had a major engine problem, and Chevy ordered all of its drivers an unauthorized engine change, and that meets a 10-position penalty on the grid for the Chevy drivers. So here is how they qualified yesterday and how they'll line up. Ryan Briscoe and Will Power were fastest, but will start 11th and 12th. The pole sitter for today's race is going to be Dario Franchitti. Marty Snyder is with Ryan and Will.
And an impressive qualifying effort for Ryan Briscoe, and we'll start with him. Was it worth it at the end of the day, Ryan, to take the 10-spot penalty and be conservative with the engine?
Well, I mean, we'll see at the end of the day. I mean, the last thing we wanted was to have any reliability issues today in the race. So, you know, we got to trust Chevrolet's judgment in changing the motors, and we definitely wanted to try to do the best we could yesterday, and couldn't have been better than a 1-2 start here.
How do you guys win from 11th and 12th?
I think it'll be tough today. I mean, the strategy, it's looking like it might be a 2-stopper, but I feel like we've got the pace to pass a few cars. It's a long race, 85 laps, and a lot's going to happen out there. There could be a few little accidents, and we've just got to try to make advantage of all those situations.
Well, you were able to do it at Barber from 9th using some strategy, so do you maybe use the chrome horn a little bit today, move some people out of the way?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that's just going to make you have to pit and replace your nose. So we just got to be smart with the strategy and just, you know, think of the overall picture, the championship, the points. And, man, honestly, I think a top 5 would be a really good result for us today.
But it is winnable from back there.
It's, yeah, I mean, you can never say never, but it'll be tough.
It has been done before. 3 times a Long Beach winner has come from outside the top 10 starting position. For more on the Chevy situation and all the news this weekend, let's head over to the IndyCar Central stage and Kevin Lee. Kevin.
All right, thank you, Marty. We are where 26 drivers are trying to finish their day here today. Victory Lane is right beside us. Robin Miller, our IndyCar insider, is with us. We'll get his thoughts coming up in just a moment, but let's continue this story of the weekend about the engine situations with Chevrolet and hear from some of the key people with the teams that are dealing with this. And the rules that talk about why this happened, we are looking at 1850 miles is what they're looking to see from these engines. But starting out the season, the first batch of engines, they're only saying they have to go 1,200 miles. And these Chevy engines obviously didn't reach that. So anytime you see a change of that engine, it's an automatic 10-grid penalty. That does not include when we're talking about in the race. If an engine blows up in the race, then they get to keep their qualifying position for the next race. Now let's hear from some of the key people from the Chevy teams affected.
Spoiled in the past, you know, of having real reliable cars because they've been around so long. But you know, when you have new things like this, it's, you know, it's going to be there. So, you know, same for everybody, and you know, we just got to deal with it.
You can say that it's happened to the Lotus teams already this year. It's happened to the Honda teams, and now it's, I guess you could call it Chevy's turn. It's just more at once. So, you know, is it fair? It's what everybody said the rules are. So you have to play by the rules. Are we happy about it? No. Did we agree with the rule when it all started? No. You know, I think, you know, I was certainly an advocate of waiting until Indy to where these competitors were able to get their development out of the way, and then it'd be purely a matter of, okay, you have the reliability in place, and just give it a bit of time so that this isn't such a confusing thing in the beginning for everyone.
For you blow an engine in the race, you don't get the penalty. Like what happened to Sato at Barber, he blew an engine and doesn't have a penalty here. So the rule needs to be reviewed. I'm not really sure, how it came up. I think it came about for cost containment. However, there's probably a better way to ride it.
About cost containment, your opinion on why this rule was put in place, even including testing.
Kevin, in the 90s, IndyCar racing had a lot more money than common sense. So you'd go to a race weekend, you'd have a practice engine, you'd change it for a qualifying engine, you'd change that after qualifying for a race engine. Teams were spending $300,000–$400,000 a weekend on engines because everybody had so much money. Obviously, today's economy, the way the teams are struggling for sponsorship, some of them, and a brand new engine, everybody said, let's try and get this thing right. We've lowered the cost of the engine lease. Let's try and make them last longer and save everybody some money. So it's kind of confusing, but there's a reason behind doing it.
This is out of the realm of the race director, Bo Barfield. Will Phillips is the VP of Technology with IndyCar, and we asked him why they didn't consider changing it after the season started.
Of course, after the first penalty that was served at St. Pete for Simon Pagenaud, once that precedent has been set, we have to just be consistent and follow that rule through for the season. There will not be a change currently envisaged this year because we've set the precedent. We have to stick with the rules.
Kevin, I think I talked to all the drivers. You figure most of the drivers said, let's get rid of this rule after everybody serves one time. But most of the drivers were like, keep it all year. Ganassi hadn't had to pay the penalty yet. We don't want to change the rule, which is kind of surprising because I'm a driver. I want to change the rule. Most of these guys said we're going to live with it the rest of the year, and you heard what they said. That's the way it's going to go racing for the rest of 2012.
We don't yet know how it's going to impact Indianapolis. Those rules will still be announced. But this race today, it's at least going to make things really interesting and exciting.
Right, and they're talking about everybody gets a fresh engine for the Indy 500 race. Not necessarily for the month, but for the race. So that would at least be fair.
All right, we'll have more with Robin Miller throughout the day during our race coverage. One of those guys that is quick and is affected is with our Townsend Bell.
Well, thanks, Kevin. My own personal feeling on this engine rule is it's the international standard. It's what F1 does. It's what the fans know. It's a huge bummer when it's when you're on the short end of that stick. I just don't know how do you regulate the engine manufacturers from exploiting the rule if it were to be modified and a little bit more flexible. But a guy who's certainly bummed about that rule today, Ryan Hunter-Reay. Ryan, you qualified third on track. You're going to start 13th. How do you deal with that overnight? I mean, have you seen a therapist? Are you on medication? What's going on with you?
Yeah, a lot of alone time on that one. No, it's fine. I mean, it's happened to Pagenaud at St. Pete, and I felt bad for him there because you know Honda wasn't trying to get anything extra out of it, and you kind of felt bad for him because he was really quick there, and now I feel bad for all of us here. So it's just part of it. It's we have a great car, I think, today. This DHL Sundrop car is awesome, and hopefully we can really get after it, not save a whole bunch of fuel. We're going to have to save some fuel, but not save a whole bunch. That would be ideal.
Is this the best car you think you've had relative to, say, Will Power, Briscoe, the Penske so far?
I think so, yeah. This morning especially, we made some changes overnight that have really suited my driving style, and we'll see how it does on these Firestone tires. They're great tires. You just gotta be careful with when and how you use them. But I love this track, this place. Long Beach is awesome, and it's so cool to see all these fans out here today. We're gonna put on a heck of a show, I know that.
Well, this guy's a tiger around here at Long Beach. He won here in 2010. He's going to be getting after it here real soon. Kevin?
Has to start from the mid-pack, and there's his boss, Michael Andretti, who's won here twice. His first IndyCar race and his last IndyCar race, and good success as an owner the last 2 years here.
And the Grand Prix of Long Beach is underway.
Will Power has given up the lead. Power has a problem with the 12 car.
Ryan Hunter-Reay wins the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach.
Across the line, we are green.
By Conway inside Dario Franchitti for third. Conway has moved to second position. Conway has taken the lead from Brian Briscoe. Mike Conway wins his first IZOD IndyCar Series event. IndyCar Central on NBC Sports Network is presented by Verizon, official wireless partner of the IZOD IndyCar Series.
And It's been a fantastic start to the season for Team Penske. They have the 2 fastest cars here because of engine changes. Ryan Briscoe and Will Power start just better than mid-pack. Beautiful scenes here in Long Beach as we get set for the 38th Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach championship race. 2 in. Elio Castroneves, rough season last year. He is the leader right now, and Scott Dixon a much better start to this season. Keep in mind, all these Chevy teams starting back in the pack. The championship could be really shaken up here after the end of things today. Dario Franchitti qualified 4th yesterday, but he's going to start on the point. He's with Marty Snyder.
Well, the Honda team certainly more than happy to take advantage of the Chevy problems, and it hasn't been quite the start of the season that Dario Franchitti wanted. So what kind of shot in the arm is just starting first today?
Well, the fact we qualified 4th was the first thing, and obviously the penalties with Chevy, they moved us up to the pole, so that was a nice, not a surprise, but it was a nice little bonus there to have a clear track in front of us, and hopefully we can take advantage of it today. But I really think it's going to be a fascinating race because you've got guys starting mid-pack, the Chevy, some really quick cars on the black tires. You got a bunch of guys up front. Some are going to be on new reds, some on used reds. How is it all going to play out? Fuel's going to play a part today. Passing is going to be very tough, but I think it's going to be a pretty fascinating race. So hopefully we can keep the target car up front and stay away from all the madness.
You almost got through warm-up clean this morning. Very last lap. What happened, and is the car okay?
I think the reason that was the last lap was because I brought out a red.
I wasn't going to mention that part.
No, the car's fine. I was just seeing how much curb I could take in turn 5. I should have learned from Tony yesterday. I saw Tony parked in there, and I tried to take a little more curb, then the next lap a little more, and the tub just bottomed out, and just my fault entirely. So the guys did a great job. The car's ready to go, and we'll try and avoid that curb in the race.
And Dario leads the Honda brigade up front, and Townsend's with another Honda driver. Townsend.
Thanks, Marty. Standing down here with Simon Pagenaud, who's going to go off 4th today. Simon, heck of a qualifying run again. You guys are really strong and on the road and street courses. What's it going to be like out there today?
Well, I think we get a little bit of luck this weekend, and thanks to our Honda power, we're starting 4th. It's been a difficult qualifying yesterday, but this morning in warm-up we just dialed in perfectly the car, and I think it's going to be an interesting afternoon for us.
Now, you're a 1-car team here at Sam Schmidt, but you are with the Honda family. I know how difficult that is to not have data from teammates, to reference yourself against. What kind of help do you get from Honda or from any other drivers in the series?
There's a lot of things we get from IndyCar, actually, with a lot of all the sector times in the corners, down the straight. Everything is divided in many sectors, and that helps us to know if we need to trim out the car a little bit or make it quicker in the corners, and that's how you try to win the race.
So, Kevin, 1-car team, but I'm not sure he needs any help. This guy's fast around here, 5th in points. Going to be a great day.
Definitely one to watch today. Thank you, Townsend. Well, Grand Prix weekend here in Long Beach really is a 3-day festival of racing, and one of the favorite events is the Toyota Celebrity Race. And among those taking part were Oscar winner Adrian Brody, defending champion William Fichtner, and Brian Clausen. The Toyota Celebrity Race is a fantastic event that benefits racing for kids. Toyota donates $5,000 on behalf of each driver, and since 1991 has raised over $2 million for racing for kids on behalf of the race and its participants. A lot of action in the event yesterday, maybe a little more action than some would prefer. A few incidents on track, and Adam Carolla came through unscathed and goes to the top of the podium. Adam Carolla, the winner yesterday in the Toyota Celebrity Race here at Long Beach. Well, there's a look at Justin Wilson. He's going to start 3rd today. He's got a real chance to win. He's been the runner-up here 2 times on the streets of Long Beach. They are on top of the rooftops. I've got a good seat, but that might be even better. Stay with us from Long Beach. They are lined up on the rooftops. They have been here all weekend for the 38th time. Only Milwaukee and Indianapolis have had longer-running IndyCar events. They've been doing IndyCars here since 1984 on the balconies. Everywhere you could cram them in. A great crowd, perfect weather here at Long Beach, and a look down pit road. And you'll notice as you look in there are no Chevy cars at the front. They may have qualified up front, but because of the engine changes, they are going to start a little bit deeper in the field. No closer than 11th. That's where Ryan Briscoe will be. One of those beneficiaries. He was 7th quick in qualifying, but moves up to the front row. Joseph Newgarden is with Marty.
Well, I have found a very happy young man, Joseph Newgarden. Did you ever think your rookie season Long Beach Grand Prix, one of the most prestigious races of all. You'll be starting on the front row with Dario Franchitti.
No, I mean, you know, I knew it was possible. Sarah Fisher-Hartman Racing, I have so much faith in these guys. They're an unbelievable group. They've given me all the tools that I needed to do a good job for them and make that car quick. So I'm not really surprised. You know, I've been more disappointed in myself, you know, with some of the driving that I've done. I really don't think I've maximized the car that we had and the potential that we had. So, you know, the cool thing is we're getting better and better each race, and that's really the goal. You got to keep improving all year long because that's what everyone's doing in the paddock here. So real excited for everything that they do. You know, glad to be with Honda. It's such a great group, and I think we're going to have a good race today.
Man, you have really turned some heads in these first two races, yet you seem so relaxed. Is there any pressure on you to prove yourself?
You know, I think Firestone Indy Lights was a good training ground. I've always been here in, you know, the paddock with the same type of people.
Yeah.
So you know what's going on. You know, there's nothing new to really expect. It's just been a really good training ground, and the transition into Sarah Fisher-Hartman Racing has been really easy too. So, you know, they've made it easy on me, and it's been a lot of fun. So I feel pretty at ease.
You approve of this nonsense going on back here? I think your interview's being bombed.
He's everywhere. He's got to get this thing going. So
don't you get enough TV time already? He's trying to get himself on the front page of GoDaddy.com.
He needs to get it. I mean, you know, James, he's a pretty funny character. So
tell him to get his own interview, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. He keeps trying to budge into all my stuff, you know, so I got to one-up him now.
Right, exactly. Kevin, I hope no one's bothering you over there on the stage.
No, I'm good. Robin Miller has been ushered away, so we are safe up here on the stage. Well, we are getting set for the Indianapolis 500, and a week and a half ago we had testing 9 different cars out at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There's a look at Mike Conway and AJ Foyt's car. Quickest, Marco Andretti, 218.6 miles an hour. Tony Kanaan was second quickest. We see Ed Carpenter rolling in. The drivers said the cars were more stable, should find more speed by the time we get to May. And rookie orientation the same week at Texas Motor Speedway with Simon Pagenaud, Joseph Newgarden, Brian Clausen. And he's not a rookie at Indianapolis or on ovals, but our own Townsend Bell got an opportunity to get in the new car for the first time. We bring him back in. So Townsend, what was your first reaction to this car?
Well, Kevin, there was a great deal of anticipation for me, not knowing what to expect driving this new Dallara. First impression, it was a lot like a Formula One car in terms of the way I sit. My feet are a little bit higher with the higher nose. True left foot braking setup. Left the pits with a hand clutch for the first time since I drove an F1 car years ago, until I put my right foot down. And man, I got to say, a little bummed. It wasn't as much power as I wanted. You know, somewhere in the 500s, I guess. Boost pressure down for the ovals. I'm starting my drive right now. These things need more horsepower. We need to be going faster. I don't like 215 at the Speedway or, you know, high 207, 208 at Texas. I want to be getting after it. That's what this sport is about. So I'm driving, start my push now. Raise the horsepower, drop the weight. Let's get these things going.
Like it. Can't wait to see it. And I hope we'll see Townsend Bell in the Indianapolis 500 again this year as well. Well, we are nearly ready to go. And there's the fastest in qualifying. Let's see what Ryan Briscoe can do from just past mid-pack, starting 11th today. And there's Rubens Barrichello, still learning these circuits. He's the only driver that's never raced here before. Well, don't forget, you can get live streaming from the Verizon app. Call Star Indy for live in-car cameras, driver pit crew chatter, and more. Download IndyCar Mobile only from Verizon. Parade laps are going right now. Helio Castroneves taking his trip around and certainly hoping for better results than what happened last year when he came together with the teammates.
Long Beach on the restart, Elio was on the inside of Oriol Servia.
Unfortunately, my mistake of my part.
Probably braked a little late, locked up.
But that was enough to go a little bit too far.
Oh, look at Castro Neves. Oh, he took out his teammate. I can't believe it. Castro Neves takes out Will Power. Oh, is he in trouble?
And when I saw Will, where he was already turning, and I ended up hitting him and taking him out of the race.
I spun out, and that was that. It wasn't deliberate.
Certainly, when you hit your teammate, it's not fun. I felt so terrible. I take the full responsibility for that.
Thanks for joining us on IndyCar Central and NBC Sports Network, presented by Verizon. Getting close to start time here for the 38 Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, and it's the first of 2 times we'll be in Southern California. We will finish up this season just a couple of hour drive from here, a little bit to the northeast. IndyCar is back in Fontana this year, and it will decide the championship. It's a Saturday night race, September 15th. Hope you can join us. And we have a good crowd assembled here today. We look down to pit lane, and we need to find Robin Miller down there amongst the fans and the competitors. Robin, it's time for the grid run. Take it away.
You found me, brother. Michael,
Yes,
you
sir.
started 15th and won this
15th,
race.
all right.
That's
All
right.
right.
So you're right. So what do you tell this kid? Use the chrome horn or just be smart?
Be smart. Be smart. I mean, with which kid are you talking about?
Hinch.
Oh, Hinch.
He's Canadian. He's got to use the chrome horn.
Yeah, well, that's true. You know, he's got to take a little bit of what Paul would do with it. But
Right.
yeah, I don't know. He just we got to hope our strategies work. We got a bunch of different strategies between the 3 cars, and hopefully one of them's going to work.
Thanks, kid. Kid. I'm so much older than him, and I'm calling him a kid. All right, where's Viso? Are you with me, Jackson? I tell you what, if Hinchcliffe's Canadian and he wants to do Paul Tracy's legacy any good, he'll be using the chrome horn on lap 1, because that's how you got to root these guys out here. How do all these people get in the pits? Now, these people don't all have credentials. Out of the way, folks, out of the way. Where's my boy Ryan Hunter-Ray? Do these drivers not come to their cars? Hello? Come on, Jackson. We'll get up here. Penske will make these guys be at attention. Here's the thing that's great. They're going to have 3 different strategies. Power's going to have one. Oh, there's RP. Hang on. Excuse me. Sorry. RP, what's your strategy today, sir?
Well, I think, when you look at being back here, we're looking basically to, is there a window we can come in and get out maybe because of new pit rules? Is there an issue from the standpoint of trying to run 2 stops? And then on the other hand, we're running for points, so we got to use our heads too. We hope we don't get collected here at the beginning.
This is a lot more fun than stock car racing, isn't it?
Well, I don't know about that.
Come on. He knows. All right, where'd we go? Honest to God, where are the drivers? What do they do with the drivers? This is the non-driver grid walk. Here comes Sam. Sambo, what's Pagano going to do today? Starting 4th. He can win this thing.
But found a big one this morning, so we got some speed.
Now, did you tell him to use the chrome horn or be a nice guy?
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. Spoken by a car owner. Well, I can tell you one thing. If I don't find Alex Tagliani, I will look for his wife. I can guarantee you that. There are no drivers down here. This is unbelievable. What have they done with all the drivers? What, 8 laps to get around this place? Are you with me, Jackson? Attaboy. Excuse me, boys. Where's your driver?
Not back yet.
Not back yet. That's what they all say. That's what my ex-wife said. All right, we're going to take a break here. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the race on NBC Sports Network.
It's a beautiful day here in Long Beach, California. We're looking forward to a great race. First of all, we will get down to the opening ceremonies. First up is the invocation. That will be followed by the national anthem. Down on pit lane we go.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, if you would all please rise. It is time for the invocation offered today by Father Frank Kelly from St. Anthony's right here in Long Beach. Father?
Thank you. I was addressed up here by a photographer as the Pope, but I am just the Pope here of Long Beach. And then I got a bit confused that we were going to have visitors from above. So I've been looking up there. If you were here 48 hours ago, the thunder rolled, the lightning flashed, the wind blew, and the rain came down in buckets. So we have to be thankful to the Heavenly Father for giving us such a beautiful afternoon. Thank you. Boy, if I got applause for that, can you imagine what if I could have a lot of time? So may this Grand Prix be safe for all. May God guide us, protect us, especially the drivers, their teams, and of course the spectators. And concerning that 48 hours, a local commentator said the day was better suited for ducks than drivers. So fortunately, it's best suited today for drivers. Thank you. Amen. And if I hear amen, amen.
All right, Padre. Please remain standing. We've got more to do. We'd like to introduce the Alpha Company Recruiting and Retention Battalion of the California Army National Guard. They are our color guards. And ladies and gentlemen, it'll be time for, please stay standing if you would. And now to sing today's national anthem, Please give a big welcome to multi-platinum recording artist, 3-time Grammy nominee who has sold more than 75 million albums and singles worldwide. Please say hi to Taylor Dane.
Thank you. Ready? Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Stirring rendition of the national anthem by Taylor Dane, and the area up here that we're standing on shook when those F-18 Hornets flew over. Very, very impressive. I'm Bob Jenkins, now with my booth mates, Jan Beekes and Wally Dallenbach. Well, we've talked about how this field is jumbled. There was a lot of passing 2 weeks ago at Barber. I think there's going to be more today, Wally.
You haven't seen nothing yet, Bob. We had the 10 fastest guys in qualifying are going to be starting deep in the field. So, and this is a place where you can't drop a wheel. You can't make too many mistakes like you did at Barber. So I think it's going to be pretty awesome to watch these guys come through the field. It's going to be very difficult. I think the fans are going to get a real understanding what wing plates are today, because they're going to be flying everywhere.
And well, you know, as competitors, you and I as competitors, you hated the unknown. But as viewers, we love it. There's so many unknowns. You talk about the scramble and the grid. Well, there's also a scramble of tire choice. What tires do I go with? Well, it's been nearly a 50-50 split between the two. Now, you heard Roger Penske say new pit rules. If there's a caution, they may not close the pits. That's going to scramble that. That's an unknown. And then finally, in the invocation of all things, we were reminded of the big rain showers on Friday. Very little track time. They've had no long runs, so the teams don't know what to expect.
And besides that, it's much warmer today than it was yesterday when the sun was shining. So in that respect, it's going to be different. Well, stay tuned. It's going to be an interesting afternoon from Long Beach, California. Thanks for watching IndyCar Central on NBC Sports Network, presented by Verizon. Drivers are getting in their cars. We'll have the command and the green flag when we come back. For the 38th time, some of the best drivers in the world have gathered on the streets of Long Beach, California, and today it is the Toyota Grand Prix 38th edition from this beautiful setting here in Southern California. The weather was horrible on Friday. It was cool yesterday. Today, perfect weather with humidity of 71%, partly cloudy skies, and a comfortable 58 degrees. Let's go down for the command to start engines.
Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen,
Start your engine!
Well, guys, Parnelli was really getting after it there. I got 26 of my fellow whack jobs behind me. This is going to be one of the craziest races in history with all those Chevys back there. It's getting gnarly. I'm out of here.
Hey, Mike Conway won last year's race. AJ Foyt has not been to victory lane since 2003, Kevin. This may be the day that breaks that streak.
Here in the middle, Ryan Briscoe was the fastest in qualifying, but he's going to start in 11th. He hasn't won since Texas in 2010, but he's got a good opportunity to work his way through the pack today. Right here is Will Power. He won from 9th a couple of weeks ago, so he might have more confidence than everybody else said. It's going to be very difficult, though, to go off strategy because of a two-stop race, both starting on primary blacks, Marty.
Kevin, it used to be that the name Andretti was synonymous with victory lane here at Long Beach. In fact, Mario and Michael won 4 straight races here. Well, now as an ownership group, they have a chance to win their 3rd straight race. You just saw Ryan Hunter-Reay. Many people think he has the best car here in race trim. Right behind him, his teammate James Hinchcliffe passed a ton of cars here last year and finished a career best 4th. And then deep in the field, Marco Andretti, who's had a fast car all weekend, led the very first practice session of the day. It'll be fun to watch the Andrettis and all of these Chevys try to make their way through the field, Bob.
Boy, an exciting command there by one of my heroes in racing, Parnelli Jones, getting this thing started. The 63 winner of the Indianapolis 500. Honda is bringing back the fastest seat in sports sweepstakes. You can enter by logging on to shophonda.com. This week's lucky winner, Beverly Delp from Brownsburg, Indiana. Beverly, can you hear me?
Yes!
How do you feel there behind Ari Lyondike?
Wonderful!
I understand that you have had seats in the 3rd turn at the Indianapolis 500 for many years, so you must be a real race fan. I think Beverly is a little nervous right now and perhaps can't hear me, but enjoy the ride. By logging on to shophonda.com, Beverly won the opportunity to start today's race in the IZOD 2-seater driven by Ari Lyondike. This track is 1.9 miles in length. Jan, take us around.
And of course, you start on Shoreline Drive that we just saw, and it leads, Wally, of course, to the best passing zone. That is turn number 1, but this year you can defend. You can kind of defend that inside. Now, turn number 6 coming up here isn't highlighted, but that's where Mike Conway took the lead last year, ended up going on to victory. Another great passing zone into turn number 9, and they've changed the hairpin just a little. I think you could pass on the entrance.
Great layout here at Long Beach, always leading to some excitement, especially going into turn 1. I look forward to the green flag coming out. Here is the lineup. Starting on the front row will be Dario Franchitti. He qualified 4th. Joseph Newgarden will start in 2nd position, qualifying 7th. In the 2nd row, Justin Wilson and Simon Pagenaud. Row number 3, Scott Dixon and Takuma Sato. In row number 4, Mike Conway and Graham Rahal.
Yeah, of course, I just mentioned that Mike Conway won here last year. Graham Rahal didn't qualify well. They found a loose clamp that had to do with boost pressure. He should be much quicker.
Row number 5, Charlie Kimball on the inside, flanked by Alex Tagliani. And then, Wally, we get back to the 6th row, and there's where you find the 2 fastest qualifiers.
Yeah, no kidding. 2 fastest guys all weekend here, and they're starting deep in the field. There's going to be plenty of excitement here today watching all the passing, but it's going to be fun to watch these 2 guys come through the field.
Ryan Hunter-Reay starts 13th, qualified 3rd. James Jakes alongside. The 5th fastest qualifier, E.J. Viso, and then James Hinchcliffe, the 6th fastest. Simona De Silvestro will be in the 8th row, along with Elio Castroneves, the 8th fastest. Tony Kanaan and J.R. Hildebrand have the next row. Marco Andretti and Rubens Barrichello occupied that row. Then we moved back to Oriol Servia and Ed Carpenter. And in the final row, Sebastian Bourdais and Catherine Legge. Let's go to our onboard cameras. Rubens Barrichello carries the Verizon onboard camera, starting back in 22nd position. J.R. Hildebrand, the National Guard onboard camera. J.R. starts in 20th position. James Hinchcliffe carries the GoDaddy.com onboard camera. Hinchcliffe, look for him to move up from 16th. Here's Ryan Briscoe, who was the fastest qualifier. Charlie Kimball, the Novolog FlexPen onboard camera, car number 83. Simon Pagenaud also will carry one of our onboard cameras from HP in the number 77 car. Here are those starting on alternate tires, starting on the reds. And they include Marco Andretti. So look for these guys to get off to a good start. Alternate is the red or faster tires. The red stripe will identify them. They're softer but faster, but don't last as long as the harder compounds. Now here comes Marco Andretti. Kevin?
And Marco did not qualify well yesterday, but that was essentially by design. They gave it up. They knew they had a 10-spot penalty coming, so they saved a set of red tires. They've got 3 for the race today. They're on blacks. Look for them to come in maybe as early as lap 3 to get off of those, and they'll make it a 3-stop strategy, Marty.
Well, Kevin, we've talked all afternoon about the guys starting in the back. Among them, our championship leader, Elio Castroneves, who told me moments ago he's terrified about turn 1 because he thinks it's going to stack up in front of him. So look for Elio and a lot of other guys to maybe actually back off going into turn 1. Let any melee that might happen in front of them happen, and then they can get clear of it after that.
Cars being ordered to get nose to tail so they can come off of turn number 11 and begin to line up side by side for hopefully a very interesting start. Joseph Newgarden, last year's Firestone Indy Lights champion, gets his best start in an Indy car. There he is lined up in second position. It's a blue and white car, and they put orange tape on the wings and on the front wing and mirrors and the front wing and the rear wing. So that will be an interesting way to identify that car.
One of the things they're going to do for this start is that Bo Barfield wants to leave the pace car.
Back up, let's go, let's back up.
So that they pack up.
Another -10, please.
Yeah, they want to get these guys bunched up as much as possible so we get a start. You know, we get at least 4 or 5 rows side by side when they throw the green flag.
In fact, something we haven't seen for a very long time, the pace car will go through the hairpin.
Come on, guys, let's catch up, let's pack up.
They want everybody packed up so they can get as many rows as possible off of the hairpin. Remember,
speed is good.
New rules. As soon as the green comes out, you can pass. If you're in the hairpin, you can start passing the moment you hear on your radio, green, green, green.
We are just about ready. They're through turn number 10. The hairpin will be next, and then the straightaway. Lined up pretty good, beginning to come into order. We saw the Indy Lights race earlier. There was about a 5 cars abreast as they went into turn number 1. I wouldn't doubt, but we would have at least that many for the IndyCar race. Here they come, about 6 rows lined up perfectly, and the green flag comes out. The Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach is on.
That looked good.
Watch Justin Wilson in 4th, red and white car. He has the inside line on Pagenaud.
Newgarden looks to the outside.
Oh my!
Wow,
no.
Yep, he didn't make it.
It looked like he was wide.
All right, buddy, keep it rolling here. Keep it rolling.
Wow, too bad for Joseph Newgarden, the first rookie to start on the front row since Robert Dornbos at Kansas in 2009. But it would appear as if his race has come to an early end.
Yeah, I got to go ahead.
No full course caution yet. Race remains under green as Dario Franchitti has the lead.
That was very surprising, Wally, because Joseph Newgarden had ducked behind Dario and then rethought it and decided to go around the outside. Now it goes full course caution.
Yeah, I saw that too. It looked like he was going to just drop back in and let things settle out, but instead he went to the outside of Dario and clipped the tires as he went through corner 1.
Guys, I talked to Joseph's engineer, Nathan, just before the start of that race. He said this guy didn't seem like he's intimidated by anything about being on the front row. He said not at all. He does not put these guys on a pedestal. Got to say, maybe he should have just there in the first corner.
Probably should have been a little more careful. It's Franchitti, Pagenaud, and Wilson, the top 3 at this point, as the first full course caution has come onto the racetrack because of Joseph Newgarden. And the Homatro safety team has arrived at the scene of the incident. Here it is.
No contact between the two. He's just flatly outside the groove. You don't think they touched you, Wally?
Ah, boy, he sure swung around pretty hard. I think this is a great angle right here. Let's see if Yeah, I think he did make contact.
Yeah, I think so.
That thing just got sideways really, really fast.
Now
Take
here,
another look.
Here, Jan, is when he fell in behind Dario.
Yeah, it's too tempting, though, especially when you're a new guy. Let's see. Take a look. Yes, I believe there was contact because he just got sideways too hard there. So that's too bad. Hey, you got to give it to him for going for it. I mean, you know, it looked like there was plenty of room.
All right, the incident is under review by the stewards, and that, of course, is the team of Sarah Fisher, Hartman Racing. Newgarden causes the first caution here at the Long Beach Grand Prix. We did not run very long under green here at Long Beach before we had an incident down first turn involving Dario Franchitti and his front row teammate. That would be Joseph Newgarden. Now, race control has just informed us that they have taken a look at this situation and they are going to offer no penalties whatsoever. There's Ryan Hunter-Ray. He passed 4 cars at the start of the race, started 13th. He's currently up to 9th. Here's the start of the race.
He's obviously easy to spot. Oh, wow, look at him go up the inside, Ryan Hunter-Ray.
But what?
And there is where Newgarden came in contact with the tires. Everybody did a nice job of avoiding the tires that have been put out closer to the racing line. Here's Ryan Briscoe's on board. There's Ryan on your left with Charlie Kimball.
Hey, you know, the best opportunity to make moves like that is on a start or a restart. I mean, that's if your car's working good, your tires are at its best, and you can pass some guys, that's the best time to do it.
Down to Kevin with Joseph.
Well, unfortunately, your best start ends in the first corner. What happened?
Well, I don't know. I saw one replay, and I had a feeling that was going to happen. I just, you know, I thought I got alongside him. I gave him the inside lane. I just got touched on the exit and went right into the wall. But, you know, maybe it wasn't the right move. The plan was, like, you know, if he was breaking alongside of me, I would have just given him a lane and tucked right in. But, you know, I thought I had a good run on him and got a good jump on him. So, you know, it's one of those tough breaks, man. I feel bad for the team. If anything, probably should have just. Yeah, it's a tough call. I mean,
should he have been penalized? They reviewed it and they said no penalty.
Hey, that's up to the marshals, man. That's what they're there for. So I'm just a driver. I'm hired out here to drive a car well for the team, and I feel kind of bad for him right now. I feel like I didn't do my job. So probably something to think about, but certainly a good learning experience. Maybe I should think a little bit better before I go into it. But you never know. I mean, there's a couple different takes on it, I think, and I'll certainly review it myself and see what I want to do in the future next time.
All right, great pace this weekend for Joseph Newgarden, but an early DNF.
I want to jump in here real quick. I don't think he did anything wrong. I think if he would have had a little bit more room from Franchitti, he could have pulled that pass off. So I don't think he should be beating himself up on that deal.
All right, well, we got another 2 abreast restart coming up. That's Simon Pagino to your left. And
there we go. Wow. Go, 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 go. Green's flying, man.
That was Graham Rahal, just shot to the inside.
Now we all have to get through here.
Justin Wilson is up front going into turn 1.
And he got it. Yeah.
Well, Justin Wilson has the experience to get just that farther in front of Dario Franchitti. Wow.
Everybody around the fountain in good shape.
And remember, this is all done without any kind of push to pass. It's all on the drive that you got when they said green, green. You could just see all the cars lurch. You know, there's been a lot of talk about how the twin-turbo Chevrolets accelerate more quickly. Well, Justin Wilson, of course, he was racing with Hondas, but that thing took off like a rocket.
And Justin Wilson has not shown
it. Yep, making a move.
Going to the inside of Simone de Silvestro. Elio carrying AAA colors once again.
Oh, there you go. Using the chrome horn as Robin talked earlier.
A couple of Penske cars right together behind Mike Conway. Of course, Ryan Briscoe, then Will Power.
Briscoe and Power, the fastest qualifiers yesterday, starting 11th and 12th on the grid. Charlie Kimball, there's Graham Rahal. Right behind them is Ryan Hunter-Ray in yellow and white. Brian Hunter-Reay says this is the track that means the most to him. He met his eventual wife, Becky, here. They were engaged here, and he will tell you that this is the race that his mom always was her favorite. And, of course, he is a former winner here at Long Beach.
See where we're at here. Let's go to mixture 5.
Charlie Kimball, of course, started behind his teammate Graham Rahal. Now he leads Graham Rahal as far as the Ganassi duo. So nice job thus far by Charlie Kimball.
These guys were a little bit worried about this morning, Yana. Their fuel, they were not getting the fuel mileage that they were hoping to get to make this thing a 2-stop. Their goal was kind of like get everything you can, because they're probably going to have to stop 3 times depending on how the cautions work out.
They've had a little bit of help so far with that early caution.
Riding on board with Kimball, who is 6th.
That's cool to shot.
It is. As J.R. Hildebrand behind Simona de Silvestro in the National Guard colors, number 4.
Be very interesting. You'll see a mix there. She, of course, is on the black sidewalls, and you can see clearly on board that JR has the red sidewalls early on. He should be able to be much quicker than if it turns out to be a long stint. Maybe that's advantage her. Kevin?
Marco Andretti, we had said earlier, we expected him to pit earlier. They put tires out about 2 laps ago, then took them back. Now they've just gone back over the wall, so they've been going back and forth on what the strategy is. I'm guessing, guys, there's a concern here. If we get a lot of yellows, then it's going to be pretty difficult for a 3-stop strategy to finish up in the front.
Hildebrand running in 19th. Oh, and here he is moving around Simona de Silvestro.
That was just straight horsepower there. Chevrolet versus a Lotus.
Rubens Barrichello is in the dark blue car behind.
There's Marco getting the tires.
Marco is in. He was on the primaries. Now he's on one of his 3 sets of sticker alternate softer tires. And keep in mind, too, he gets out and he can run quick laps in clear traffic right now.
Contact between Hildebrand and Marco a little earlier. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah.
Looked like somebody had locked a tire up about 3 or 4 cars up, and they kind of stacked up on it.
Justin Wilson, while we're watching the action back in the pack, Justin Wilson continues to lead here. He's built up a 3.5-second advantage over Dario, and this is the first time that Justin Wilson has led a race since from the pole at Toronto in 2010.
He's
there
checking
he is.
out, Bob.
Yeah, he is.
Going.
And
3.5 seconds. Wow.
As I said, he hasn't really shown much this year, driving for Dale Coyne Racing at Barber 2 weeks ago. Started 19th and finished 19th, but he was very fast in qualifying yesterday and has the lead here in the early going this afternoon. There's the advantage he has over Franchitti. Right behind Dario is Simon Pagenaud.
Bob, it's Townsend. This is huge for Justin Wilson. I mean, just 2 weeks ago at Barber, he was absolutely sideways out of control that whole race, just hanging on. Going to be fascinating to see how the tire wear holds up on his car. So far, this is a massive improvement for him. Also for Dario, what a difference 2 weeks makes running to the front, Long Beach. Right now, Justin looks really strong.
He really does. He won the pole here in 2008. His best finish, however, was second in 2006 and 2010. Justin Wilson leads here with 8 laps completed. Dario Franchitti second, followed by Pagenaud, Sato, and Dixon. We'll be right back. Back in Long Beach, there's Dario Franchitti, who is now running 3rd. You saw just as we went to break on nonstop, Simon Pagenaud pass him. So Dario's 3rd, and Takuma Sato on the blacks is running 4th and staying right up there with him.
You know, Jan, I question if Franchitti doesn't maybe have a little damage on that right front with the contact with Newgarden.
Tony Kanaan Kanan is in. Marty?
Well, here's the guys starting with the three-stop strategy. We saw Marco do it a moment ago. Tony Kanan on pit road now. These guys had major brake problems today. They rebuilt the entire brake system. Tony said, don't touch the chassis. It's fine, and the brake's way better right now, so they're going to try and make it on 3 stops. Reds go on for Kanan.
And Kanan has been running the green Geico-sponsored car. The primary sponsor this week is Mouser Electronics, and so it is a two-tone blue car.
Hey guys, a quick update on Dario Franchitti. His team is working his fuel strategy, so he is already in fuel save mode to match his number, make sure he's on strategy. So I don't think he's too worried about losing that spot. Never want to lose it, but nonetheless, he's driving to a fuel number.
Kanan and Marco Andretti are now together on the racetrack.
Showing you the difference between cold and hot tires. He should be able to get him here on the approach to turn. Oh, but see, Kanan now is starting to develop a little bit of pressure, a little bit of heat. And there's third place. Sato, as you said, Bob, on the blacks. Gets it done.
Wow. Driving for Bobby Rahal this year, with Rahal's return to the IZOD IndyCar Series as an owner. And his driver has been impressive in all 3 races. The finishes don't reflect that, though. Sato driving the MyJack car. Here it is, entering turn 1. He's to the inside of Dario.
And Dario fairly consistently, except for the start, has not taken a defensive line into turn number 1. And, you know, sometimes discretion is the better part of valor. I think he knows that he's got some trouble.
Kevin.
Takuma Sato has not had results so far this season. He's the only driver with DNFs in both starts. Tom Anderson, their managing director, said the focus right now is just on reliability, not beating ourselves. They said it was their mistake that led to the mechanical at St. Pete, but Takuma's been optimistic because despite these issues, they have had good pace in the first 2 races and pretty good pace again this weekend. They got bogged down in a little bit of traffic yesterday in qualifying.
And now Dario's under fire from his teammate, Scott Dixon, and Dixon makes the pass.
Hello there, teammate. I'll move you over a little bit to the right as I go by.
Wow.
Hey guys, I know, been hearing here down at the Ganassi pits for Dario, they've been talking fuel number, but man, he's kind of dropping pretty quickly. I'd be turning up the wick, I guess, but Chip gave me that look when I asked him about handling. He said, no, the car's fine. He just gave me that look like, you know, kid, we've been here before. We know what we're doing.
Yeah.
So Dario's back to 5th now. And right behind him is Charlie Kimball, another guy who's doing well, as we talked earlier. Justin Wilson, meanwhile, has pulled out to a 4.5-second lead over Pagano. We got the 4 Ganassi cars right together on the racetrack. Namely, Dixon, Franchitti, Kimball, and Rahal. They're running 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th.
We're struggling, so if we get by, let's get by.
Mitch Davis on the radio to Charlie Kimball, and that's the kind of cheerleading you want to do, Wally, is you're saying, look, guy ahead of you is having trouble, let's capitalize, let's go, go, go.
I drove for Mitch. Mitch is as patient as a driver is. I mean, he's one of those guys, he doesn't care what is in front of you, he wants you to pass him.
If you want to get by him, that's okay too.
Mike Conway in the ABC-sponsored car. There is Ryan Briscoe, who really hasn't moved up that much. He's currently 10th. He started 11th. Briscoe in number 2 on board with him. Justin Wilson, who continues to lead down to Townsend Bell.
Hey, Bob. Yeah, I'm standing down here with Dale Coyne. Dale, hey, Dale, last week, 2 weeks ago at Barber, man, you guys had a handful. Wasn't a great run for you guys. It sure seems like things are looking good now.
Yeah, we went there with a sprint car as loose as can be, and we've got to figure it out a little better here, obviously. And Justin's doing a great job. And snapped that lead away right away, and now he's pulling away a little bit. So
how much fuel are you burning here?
As little as we can, and see how it goes. So.
All right, well, Justin's getting after it. He's making good time. Things are looking good.
Well, Well, of course, Justin Wilson won for Dale Coyne to Watkins Glen in 2009.
And he won, yes, Bob. And of course, with his engineer, Bill Pappas, who had left to go to KB Racing, now is back, reunited with Justin. So they're bringing the band back together.
And he is looking good. A 4.3 second advantage for Justin Wilson over Simon Pagenaud, Sato, Dixon, and Franchitti at the 38th annual Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Some are moving up, some are falling back, Jan.
And of course, that's Dario Franchitti on the restart. First, the original start when it looked like he might be falling back. Then you've got Simon Pagenaud. Makes it up the inside of turn number 1. Almost carbon copy here for Sato. Plenty of room between cars until his teammate comes along and says, hello there, Dario. Moves him to the right, and certainly Dario is struggling to maintain the pace, and no one is maintaining the pace of this man, Justin Wilson.
Upping his advantage to 6.9 seconds over Pagenaud. Charlie Kimball, just as we went to break. Let's see what happened to him. Under attack from Graham Rahal, who moves to the inside and passes his teammate. Well, no, he didn't. He almost did. Oh, look, Kimball got Newgarden and Franchitti didn't do that earlier in the race. All right.
We got Bourdais.
Sebastian Bourdais, who had moved up 5 positions since the start of the race, is in the tires.
Side or the other. Sorry, I lost it.
And there you hear, he lost it.
There's your answer.
Sebastian Bourdais, a 4-time champion in the Champ Car Series.
How bad's the damage to the front?
Now, this could be the first opportunity for the pits being open.
Yep.
So the pits are open and full course caution. There you go. Just to be sure that he was perfectly clear.
Bring it down, put it right on the marks. Here we are, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, Justin Wilson pulls in here. I'm just in the pit wall watching them. Blacks go on. They got a great handling car, one of the best runs for him in a long time. He's finished second twice here before.
Now Townsend, of course, what happens here is that you have spacing between cars. That's why Bo Barfield has chosen to do this. They're not packed up first and then pit. They're coming in spread out. It's so much safer. But what an advantage for Wilson.
Oh, when he hits the tire.
Yeah, that's going to be a penalty.
Yep.
Clear outside. Go.
Scott Dixon pits from the 4th position. Slick black tires on for Scott Dixon. They never said a word about saving fuel that entire run. Also, Mike Conway, the winner here last year, is in. They're going to send him out. They're having some trouble getting out of pit road. A long stop for them. Slick blacks for Conway. Kevin?
Will Power just came in and made a stop. He has only picked up 1 spot in the pits so far. That might have taken a little bit longer than what they wanted. We'll check on that.
Meanwhile, they continue to get the car of Sebastian Bourdais out of the tires.
Now, for Simon Pagenaud, where you saw that contact with wheel, I said that'll be a penalty unless someone put a tire out where it shouldn't be. So if the tire is inside the box.
He turned?
Yeah.
He actually turned to the right, so I'm sure somebody
was coming
over
up
to his left.
Yeah. He was trying to make room for traffic, but that tire was where it was supposed to be.
Now here is the Bourdais incident.
Rear brake.
Yeah.
He had a lot of rear brake in it.
Yeah.
He got sideways when he jumped on the brake, and boy, just not enough room to save yourself in that corner. I don't know if there's a whole lot of damage though on the front of that car, but
Sebastian Bourdais had a 9th place finish at Barber. Not going to be quite that good today here at Long Beach. More when we return. Join us just as they're getting lined up for the restart. The first 7 cars, namely Sato, Franchitti, Hunter Ray, Briscoe, Hinchcliffe, Castroneves, and Hildebrand, did not pit, so they're up front. Justin Wilson, who was leading, is in 8th position. 2 by 2, they come off of corner number 11.
Something's wrong with Franchitti. He had a terrible start.
Dario just gets left in the dust.
Takuma Sato.
They're going to run him over.
Ryan Hunter-Reay moves to second.
Cliff underneath Greg Keating.
I don't know what fuel setting that was on Dario's car, but it certainly wasn't the right one. It is looking awfully soft down the front straight.
Yeah, well, that really both start. The start and this restart, Franchitti has not been very strong.
The Barracuda Network car from Brian Herta Racing, driven by Alex Tagliani, is wounded. And he's into the runoff area, so we won't have a caution.
Whoa, what the heck?
Oh, that's not good.
That's Marco. He went in hard. And this will bring out a full course caution.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And that was...
Looked like, you know, there was a bunch of cars bouncing around back there when they came out of that corner. I wonder if there's something laying on the track. Graham Rahal got no rear wing.
Come in here. Come in the back door.
Catherine Legge.
Yep.
Well, let's bring it in. Bring it in here.
But they're scattered all over, I mean, different parts of the track.
Yeah. Now, there was definitely, well, we'll go back and see, but the way that Marco, I mean, there was some kind of contact. It just sent him just flying.
J.R. Hildebrand makes a pit stop meanwhile. He
This
did
is
not
a good idea.
Yeah, on the most recent caution, but he does now. Hildebrand is away. Marco climbs out of the car. He is okay, but he has a damaged race car.
Hold on here. Just hold on.
Graham Rahal gets some work at the front and the back of his car.
All right, I'm just trying.
Kevin?
All right.
Looks like it might be the end of the day for Graham Rahal. It's more than just the rear wing assembly, which they can change, but Graham is climbing out, so significant damage for that car after he apparently got catapulted by Marco Andretti.
Nasty looking crash.
Guys, I'd like to actually see that in slow-mo, just because when Marco popped out at the last second, Graham gave a little dodge, and I think that might have caught Marco off guard there.
And then Catherine Legge is also in the tires. They've gotten her car out.
In fact, I believe that's Sebastian Bourdais Marks, her teammate, right next to. Let's see what Townsend's saying. I see what Townsend's talking about.
So as soon, you know, Graham was on his braking zone. He was kind of got an eye out the peripheral. As soon as Marco popped, you saw Graham just give a little bit of a slight, you know, steering modification. I don't think he had any idea at the closing speed that Marco was coming. Marco certainly didn't expect that.
Good eyes.
Dixon did a good job getting through that too.
Which, what a change of fortune for Dixon, because normally if Dixon's anywhere near something like this in the early part of the season, he's right in the middle of it.
And now here is Barrichello's on board.
Conway right in front of him, and he just gives him a little boot. I think there's left wing damage on the left front. Yeah.
All kinds of things happening here on lap 24 and 25. Catherine Legge won an Atlantics race here at Long Beach in 2005. Rejoining the IndyCar Series this year. Competitor in Champ Car. Graham Rahal is out and out of the car and out of the race. car will go back to the wall and be repaired for the next race, which will be 2 weeks from today in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And Mike Conway has stopped on the backstretch.
Got about 6 or 7 cars involved in something here in the last 5 minutes.
You got defending champ.
A line of traffic snakes through the area where Mike Conway's car is stopped. And we also see that Sebastian Bourdais is back on the racetrack. We'll take a break during this full course caution here at Long Beach, California. Coming up when we're finished, the Stanley Cup playoffs continue on the NBC Sports Network with Game 2 between the Devils and the Panthers. Then tonight at 10:30, the series shifts to just up the road in Los Angeles for the Canucks and the Kings Game 3. The Stanley Cup playoffs on the NBC Sports Network. There you see the Queen Mary in the background, pointed out during our qualifying show. Of course, it was 100 years ago last night in the North Atlantic when the Titanic sunk. That is the famous Queen Mary harbored here in Long Beach. We're with Graham Rahal. Let's talk to him.
Graham, that was a scary incident. Take us through your perspective on that with Marco jumping over the top of you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say really. It's a cluster back there. I mean, we were just trying to stay clean, and I was looking. I mean, by that time, he had already hit me. So that's the problem, is when you see the car dart to the right, it's when he hit my right rear. And when it slows the tire, it pulls it like that. I was just trying to stay underneath Dixon. And, obviously I surprised Marco. And I think the brake zone, he wasn't going to make the corner no matter what. If he had slipped underneath me, he was going to shoot long, how deep we were, because I was already braking. But it's just frustrating, I think, for everybody, because the Service Central car actually felt really good. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised. I told you this morning that we're going to have a long day, but the car felt really strong, and I was just, trying to do laps, and, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out the rest of the day, though.
All right, you still got some teammates to watch. That's Graham Rahal. Townsend?
Hey, I'm down here with Alex Tagliani. Alex, man, it's been a tough start to a season. Certainly not the way you guys wanted to end. What happened out there?
Well, at the start, we have some sort of a rev limiter when the engine is not able to get up to temperature, and I was trying everything I had to warm it up, and so it was better to come through the pits and warming up because, we're limited at 6,000 RPM, so that was not good. And then, we were making grounds.
What happened with the contact?
Well, new rule, as soon as it goes green, you can pass. And obviously being in the back like that, as soon as it got green, I just jump on the inside and pass Vizo inside the hairpin and coming onto the front straight away. He just pushed me into the wall. Guess he was upset, but he's the type of guy that get disconnected sometimes. So it's unfortunate for the Bowers & Wilkins Barracuda team.
Tough day for these guys. Marty?
Townsend, our defending winner here at Long Beach, will not win the race this year. They had a gear problem. It actually would not go into fourth gear for Mike Conway. Then they told him on the backstretch, recycle it, and then it died. So they get a push back here. They literally are changing the gear on pit road. He'll make his way back out eventually, but they have taken the old gear out. The new one has gone in for Mike Conway, but losing some valuable time here on pit road. And guys, we're going to get pit stop soon. This is going to be a crazy race. Strategies all over the map right now.
I can say that again. Takuma Sato, by the way, is the leader of the race. There he is behind the pace car in the blue and white car, and behind him is Ryan Hunter-Ray, who's running second. The third car there is Ed Carpenter in the Fuzzy's Vodka sponsored car. However, he is not on the lead lap. He is, in fact, in 18th position. There are 17 cars on the lead lap.
Actually, it's to get Marco's take on that, because I think it's going to be quite different than Graham Rahal's.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. There is Fran Keaty, who is currently running in fourth.
And this was when Dario just didn't launch. I mean, it was...
And that's twice now today, at least twice. His car, now I don't know what happened there, but just on the starts and the restarts, the car is not going.
Brakes are working fine, he just couldn't get off the line. I mean, he took everything back he could from Hinchcliffe, but when they said go, go, I mean, that just didn't go.
We have another two abreast restart coming up. And now Franchitti is stalled.
Dixon.
It's Dixon.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, it is Dixon.
Yep.
We were just saying that Dixon, how fortunate he was. He was so close to that accident that happened between, in fact, it's the same corner, same approach to where he just dodged a huge bullet. Now, he obviously hasn't dodged it.
Huh. We were going green, but we're not now because of Dixon.
Oh, and Sato takes the opportunity to,
Yep.
Now, did he get into the pits, and did they close the pits? Because this is a very nice time to stop, but because they're packed up, he's going to lose huge track position. I'm not so sure that was when he wanted to. Kevin?
Sato takes the opportunity to come in. Good quick stop. He goes to sticker red, softer alternate tires, and he will give up the lead position, but comes in when the pace is at caution.
Yes, but it's track position, Kevin. That's the thing that kills you. You know, if he could have stayed out, because he theoretically could have run about, well, 5-6 more laps of green, and then at least you build a little gap. You don't lose so many positions. Here, he just files right in at the back now. That's a killer.
Only about 4 cars or 3 cars are going to be behind him. Well, Takuma led this race for 8 circuits, and he has now led 2 of the 3 races so far this year. He led 11 laps at the opener in St. Pete.
Hey guys, just an update on Dario. I finally went back to Chip, said, Chip, there's no way this is fuel save mode. What's going on in these restarts? And under further inquisition, clearly Dario's apparently been complaining a little bit about horsepower all weekend, and of course he's really complaining about it now. So there's more to the story there.
Any word on Dixon down there, Townsend?
I was focused on Dario, but you know, Chip's just shaking his head right now. I think he might give me the smackdown if I get up there again.
Wow. In the meantime, Kevin is with Marco.
And his dad, Michael Andretti, and the boss just came in here as well. We'll sneak in. First of all, I see you got your hand all wrapped up. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm sore. It's just, you know, I feel for the guys. We put so much work in to the RC, you know, the RC car, and that was our stint to make hay, and we were trying to do so. And you know, there's one thing blocking, but there's another thing chopping. That was a chop. I'm lucky I didn't get upside down. I could have been killed.
So he should have been penalized on this, in your view?
Well, I mean, man, I took a big hit. I took the bigger penalty. You know, I would have had a clean pass on him. It is what it is.
Okay, thank you. That's Marco Andretti.
Major thing is he's okay. Ryan Hunter-Reay assumed the lead. Now he is in pit lane, and Ryan Briscoe has taken the lead here at Long Beach.
Well, this now makes Sato's stop look pretty good. Kevin?
Ryan Hunter-Reay comes in as well. And James Hinchcliffe also is going to take the opportunity to pit. Routine stop, no problem for Hunter-Reay. He won here a couple of years ago. He's always been quick. This is the guy that Will Power said is the guy to beat this weekend, Marty.
Kevin, James Hinchcliffe, his teammate, so the understeer is brutal. Can't pass out there. They put on scuffed red tires. He's have 6 laps on him for James Hinchcliffe. So, as you mentioned earlier, trying to avoid having to come in under green, but they will pay the penalty with track position here.
And it's a big penalty. I think all 3 of them. That just, the timing just wasn't good. They needed to get back to green to build a little gap before it happened, and they couldn't do it.
Well, there's Scott Dixon's car as we get set to go back to green flag racing. Ryan Briscoe is the leader. Franchitti is second, then Castro Neves, Wilson, and Pagano. Call Star Indy for live in-car cameras, driver pit crew chatter, and more. Download IndyCar Mobile only from Verizon. And they line up 2 by 2. Elio was doing a little brake checking there, it looked like. Green will come out again on lap 30 of 85.
Pair up, please.
Now keep in mind for Briscoe that he has not stopped. So when you see Sato, when you see Ryan Hunter-Reay, these guys peel onto pit road, obviously Briscoe has got some great fuel economy. He's going to try to do what I think is the way to go. Build a little gap, do something before you pit.
Get ready for a good restart.
He's pit pretty quick, isn't he, on?
Yeah, he's going to have to do a lap or two before he's going to have to hit pit road.
Ready? Get ready. Ready.
Here we go. Again, the starter determines
Dario
when the green comes out.
Still can't do it.
Getting the restart.
Look at Wilson again.
Wilson had a great run on him, but he kind of got blocked by
Yeah.
Franchitti. He's going to lose 3 or 4 spots, maybe more.
Ooh, this is good.
Oh, no. Now there's contact between Briscoe and Dario.
Franchitti with a wounded nose.
Keep digging. Keep digging.
And while we're looking closer at the data, I think that Briscoe could actually go another 5 to 6 laps if he was really good on his yellow fuel mileage.
Yeah.
So he has. Now, is his car damaged, though? I mean, that was a pretty good-sized hit.
I think Franchitti got the worst of it.
Yeah.
Looks like he did a lot of damage to that end plate on the left side of the wing.
Sato just
takes
passed
over.
Power.
Yep.
Woohoo!
Here comes
Hunter Ray.
Ryan Hunter
Wow,
Ray.
that was close.
Trying to go around the outside of Rubens.
Nice.
Keep going. One more if you can.
James Hinchcliffe trying to get around Simona.
Oh, and he
A little nudge. Gets her sideways.
Wow, look at the difference there.
That's all horsepower right there.
That's not a fair fight.
Oh, that hurts when you're a driver.
Yeah. Well, Dario's taking a licking. Oh, man, Sato is really moving.
As Dario does have right front wing damage, he is going to try to make one more lap and try to come in, so clearly the handling's gone south on him too.
James Jakes and Power.
Yeah.
That's 9th and 10th. The leader is Briscoe, then Elio. Tony Kanaan moves to 5th position ahead of Wilson.
He's on a totally different pit strategy, so that's why they're a bit shuffled there. Remember, that was very early on that Kanaan pit, so he pitted so early, he's going to be a 3-stopper no matter what happens.
Wally, you guys just talked about the Lotus going down the straightaway. Robbie Buell said they were 7 miles an hour slower than the Honda and the GM at the end of the straightaway here.
Yeah, you can't make that up under braking.
Okay, let's take a look at the contact between Briscoe and Franchitti. Something,
He just hit
something
the tire
flew off.
on. Yeah, I think definitely Franchitti's going to have to get that wing fixed.
Could very easily have flattened Briscoe's tire, too. Yep.
Well, it would have, but now they have the rear wheel guard, so you can't make direct contact. So we have seen not as many rear cut tires when you start touching, because you don't touch the tire any longer, you hit that wheel guard.
The other thing, Jan, is those front end fences have a really rounded, kind of blunt edge now. They're not as sharp as they used to be, which definitely has cut down on cut tires.
As you know, right there, right behind Franchitti.
And they've made this move before. Turn 1, that was where Passionate we saw has already made a move on Franchitti.
Down to Marty.
Well, Bob, I was finally able to talk to Mike Hall and try and figure out what's going on with Scott Dixon's cars. They cannot figure it out. You see all the engineers behind the pit box here trying to figure out what exactly is going on with Scott Dixon. They asked for his car to be brought to pit road, but they put him behind the safety wall in turn 8. Communication didn't get there, so they're losing valuable time. And this for a guy battling for the championship who told me is all about just being consistent. This will really hurt them, Bob.
Scott Dixon out of the race, and he had gotten off to a great start in this year of IZOD IndyCar Racing. Second in both races.
Boy, Passionate wants that spot really bad.
And we're getting close to, if someone has not stopped yet, we're within a lap or two. Ryan Briscoe, of course, would be in that group. Castro Neves is in that group, and so is Franchitti.
Lap time is the leader right now.
See if Ryan comes in this time.
So what this does, of course, the cars are spread out. So yes, you're still going to lose 30 seconds roughly, but you're not going to go all the way to the back. So yes, Frank Keating does.
Wilson's car's awfully good on
So all three that we mentioned, they were all ones who have not pitted.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Frank Keating will get a new nose on the car.
Yeah, guys, they're going to replace the front wing. I did see them take the replacement wing, take 2 turns of front wing out, so he's a little bit too neutral, I think, even with a good front wing. New front wing is going on. He's got the blacks and kept
Scuffed reds for Ryan Briscoe. He comes in of this group that came on pit road. He was the first out. So Briscoe was told by Roger Penske, you're going to go back out, you're going to have some clean track, and we can make some good lap times right now.
And Kevin, his teammate Elio Castroneves actually beat him off pit road. It was sticker red tires for Elio. They asked him, do you want anything changed with the car? He said, no, red sticker tires is all I want. The car is just about perfect.
And that answers the question that they did not build near the gap. The field is all so close that they all streamed by during that stop. So, in fact, when you look at what Sato, Ryan Hunter-Reay, and those guys did, it actually did work in their advantage. They didn't lose the same amount of track.
Right.
It only works maybe if you get 20, like Justin Wilson. When he had that huge lead before, he might have been able to pull it off, but they were still too close together.
Simon Pagenaud is the leader of the race by about 0.3 of a second over Tony Kanaan. Wilson is third. Takuma Sato back up to fourth, and James Jakes is running in the 5th position. We've completed 35 of 85 laps here on the NBC Sports Network. Welcome back to NBC Sports Network live coverage of the 38th Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. 38 of 85 laps completed. Simon Pagenaud is the leader of the race. He led 3 races in 2007 when he ran a full season in Champ Car. So this is the first race he has led since Zolder, Belgium in 2007. EJ Viso is getting a drive-through penalty because of unavoidable contact with Alex Tagliani. And we heard Alex's take on that earlier.
Right now, let's go.
So Viso serves the penalty, does a drive-through, and goes back out onto the racetrack. He was running in 12th position.
All right, you're clear. You're clear.
Here comes Elio, Briscoe, and Legg.
And of course, those positions reversed because Elio was able to have a quicker stop than Briscoe.
Viso with avoidable contact on Tagliani.
I think you said unavoidable.
Did I?
Yeah, but that makes a little more sense.
It does make more sense.
Yeah. Marty.
Well, Bob, DJ was not very happy about that. Let's talk to Jimmy Vasser and get his take on it. He keeps telling DJ on the radio plenty of time. That a fair call?
I didn't see it. EJ doesn't seem to think it was. He thinks Tag passed 3 cars under yellow and put himself in that position. But, you know, we just got to keep digging, and we'll see it some other time, I guess.
And the team also brought up, was there a statute of limitations? They felt like that was a long time ago in the race. Is it fair to call the penalty now?
I mean, I think if it's a penalty is a real penalty, yeah, I think it doesn't matter how long it takes. Jan, I mean...
No, I mean, their goal is
they're pretty busy up in race control sometimes.
And they've been very quick. I mean, sometimes it just takes... My guess is that they had to dig for video evidence of that one, because that wasn't one we got to see, so they managed to find a way to review it, and it probably wasn't something they had instantaneous.
Second, third, and fourth here.
Justin, we need to target 3.3. 3.3. Tony's going to be coming in soon, so you'll get him.
And that'd be Tony Kanaan, because Tony Kanaan is going to have...
strategy is Pagenaud. He's the guy leading right now.
So Tony Kanaan... Uh-oh, there we got somebody slowing.
Oh, wow, that was close.
And that's, in fact, Tagliani, who's back out.
In the race, yeah.
He'd be looking for somebody.
You think? Sato is driving a great race up to fourth in the MyJack car.
Will Powers still battling with James Jakes.
Yeah. Jakes is doing a great job. That's the other Dale Coyne car.
Yeah.
His teammate, of course, is Justin Wilson, who is third. And Jakes is on black tires?
Yes.
Yeah. How about that?
Go James.
Carrying the Boy Scouts of America colors.
Guys, I talked to James this morning. I really didn't know him very well. He was a rookie last year, but spent a lot of time this morning talking with him. He really feels like his program's coming together. His engineer, John Dick, they're working really well with Justin. Obviously, I got fast data to look at around here, so he's got a big smile like this was maybe a breakthrough weekend.
Looking good. And almost the halfway point. And here comes Will to the inside, and will take the position. That moves Power up to 5th spot.
And that was the gradual creep. What did Townsend, what did he call that? He called that the
Hornish, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Sam Hornish creep.
The Sam Hornish creep, I guess. I don't know, that was more of a European creep. That was more like a Schumacher fade. But,
behind you are a little better fuel shape than we are, so they're on a little different strategy. If you don't burn the fuel, if you have to, keep it behind you.
Elio trying to look to the inside of Sato, or rather of Viso.
Guys, last night I was doing some in-depth research on Jimmy Vasser's yacht, and we spent a lot of time talking about EJ Viso, and I got to tell you, he's really coached EJ so well to calm down, chill out, stay on strategy. You know, we had a bit of a hiccup here with EJ in the avoidable contact, but Jimmy Vasser has made a massive change in EJ.
Well, Townsend, Tony Kanaan running up front. Nice to see. Pits from running second. Remember, they pitted lap 11, so a little off sequence with everybody else. So once again, put on scuffed reds for TK. They had the big brake problems this morning. No brake problems so far in this race. He told me, I'm last in the championship. About as frustrated as I've ever been. Had a little trouble getting out of pit road, but finally does.
Kanaan moves back on the racetrack.
And Marty, the only problem is for Tony Kanaan, because of all that caution, all those other people who stopped early now kind of vaulted into 2 stops. So unfortunately, that's putting him back in the order, and he still has to stop because of that one more time than everyone else he's racing with.
That moves Kanaan back to 15th spot. Now, Townsend, when you get invited to things like you did last night, don't forget about your broadcasting partners. And if we don't get an invite to the same thing you do, at least bring us some shrimp or lobster or whatever.
If you could only appreciate the guilt that I was feeling. I mean, it was a last-second thing, and I looked at myself on it. I thought, I don't have Jan's number, Bob's number. I'll get you next time.
Pagenaud leads Wilson here at Long Beach, California. Stay with us. Back in a moment. The IZOD IndyCar Series continues on the NBC Sports Network from the scenic streets of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Join us in 2 weeks, Sunday, April 29th, for the race. Coverage begins with IndyCar 36, featuring Ryan Hunter-Reay at 10:30 Eastern Time. That race last year was a great race. It was, you remember, rain delayed from Sunday to Monday, but still a good race, and we look forward to seeing the guys back on the streets of Sao Paulo. There's the leader of the race, Simon Pagenaud, with a 2.5-second advantage on Justin Wilson. But Wilson has cut the lead in half the last lap.
Yeah, it looks like Wilson's making some time right now.
And the thing for Simon is that he needs to run hard, but he has to save fuel because, remember, they took advantage of some yellow, and now he needs to be cautious. Kevin?
And that is the right way to look at it for Simon Pagenaud. They are going to have to save a little bit of fuel to get it done on one more stop, and that's a little bit iffy. He came into this race feeling like this was going to be his best chance to win because he's been here before in an IndyCar and also in the American Le Mans Series. Townsend?
Yeah, Kevin, Justin Wilson running second. He started third. He's finished second here twice before. They're on the same strategy as Pagenaud. Big smiles all around at Dale Coyne Racing. Kevin?
Bobby Rahal doesn't think those in front of Takuma Sato, who is running in third, are going to be able to get it done on one more stop. He's been telling Takuma, just be smart. Those in front of you need 2 stops. We just need 1. You're doing a great job. Beautiful drive so far. We fall back to Will Power. Good drive for him so far. Starting back in the 12th position, he has worked his way up to 4th. They're trying to get to lap 57 So he's on the same strategy as Pagano, but Tim Cindric thinks that they might be able to get this done in one more stop. Townsend?
Yeah, so James Jake's having the best run of his IndyCar career. He's doing an incredible job. Same strategy as Justin. He's right there. His lap times are competitive. And we're going back on to, where's Charlie? Kimball's mine, I'm sorry. So Charlie Kimball, this is a guy that's really been in the shadows, I think. He had a rookie season, you know, big campaign about his diabetic situation and all of that. But look, this is a guy that's having a great run today. He really needs this. He's stepping out.
Really good drive for Rubens Barrichello. That we see him in that blue car coming around. He's worked his way up into the 7th position. He said every 5 laps of a race weekend, he feels significantly better. His biggest challenge right now is just learning these circuits. He's the only one that's never been here. Marty?
Kevin, the strategy is all over the map. J.R. Hildebrand will have to pit in about 7 laps. Not 5 laps ago, he was in 3rd. Now you see he's back in 8th, struggling to hang on to the car right now. That had a bad problem with it bottoming out earlier in the weekend. They have fixed that, but not much better chassis-wise. Kevin?
Ryan Hunter-Reay's probably got about 10 laps before he has to pit. He came in on lap 29. They've been telling him, you're good on fuel, though, so far.
Same for his teammate James Hinchcliffe right behind him. He said the car has a tremendous amount of understeer in it, trying to catch his teammate, but they have made their way through the field on these red tires, trying to put reds on next time as well. Townsend?
Simona Di Silvestro, best run in Lotus right now. She's having a good run. Her start at 17th. Her best finish here is 17th. Whoa.
We have a crash. It's Mike Conway, the defending champion of the race.
I'm not sure it's a crash or something broke.
Well, there's a lot of
something's on fire.
Hey guys, he just said on the radio, just shut off. That's twice this has happened to them today, so a recurring problem. Again, they did change the gear last time. You see the smoke coming out from the back, so clearly a fire as well for Mike Conway.
Here's Simona Di Silvestro coming out of pit lane. She was running in 12th position.
Green. It's still green. We're expecting one.
So we've seen problems from Scott Dixon's Honda and now Mike Conway's Honda.
Now, if they were to go caution, this is not a time you want to pit because you can't make it to the end if you stop now. So don't do it. Well, and here he comes.
Simon Pagano.
Well, that's their answer. I don't see that there's any way you can get home from here unless you've got major yellow.
4, 3, 2,
Kevin.
1.
Rubens Barrichello had tires out. We're thinking now they're not going to go, but Pagano will pit from the lead. Pagano will wait to get as much fuel as he can, but that's going to be awfully difficult to go the rest of the way. They're going to need a lot of yellow to make this happen.
Yeah, you would only make that decision if you knew that you were in trouble. In other words, we thought he might be one of them that could make it with one more stop. Maybe they're using a lot more fuel.
It's going to give the lead back to Takuma Sato.
And Sato has a little bit more in hand. We heard from that report that Bobby Rahal thought that they could do it, the ones in front could not. Remember, that's because Sato stopped a little bit later, and he should be fine. Well, I mean, it's a bit of a struggle, but he's definitely got a shot.
Just put another lap on Ed Carpenter, who's running in 17th spot. And that's Justin Wilson behind Ed. Red and white Sonny's car for Justin Wilson.
James Jakes just peeled off onto pit road. And that's, I believe that Townsend said he was on the same strategy as Wilson, so that makes you wonder because Wilson needs to go. Here comes Power.
Yeah, look who's making noise here in 3rd, and now he goes to 2nd spot. Will Power take 2nd?
Jakes is away. He's got reds on and took the blacks off. Looking for top 5.
There's James Jakes moving back onto the racetrack after a pit stop. Now, Will Power will try to pass Ed Carpenter here. And will do so easily. Now Justin Wilson will also pass Ed. How about Charlie Kimball hanging in there in 4th spot? Good race for him.
Kimball stopped at the same time as Wilson, so they're going to be on a very similar quest.
Carpenter. Good job. Good job. Clear by a lot.
Will Power is charging to the front, as he always does. He's moved up to second spot, just about a second and a half behind the leader, Takuma Sato.
Back at Long Beach, you see Helio Castroneves battling with EJ Viso. A moment ago, our championship leader, Helio Castroneves, called to his pit, said, I need a new front wing. The team has brought a new front wing out. They think there's some right front damage on the wing. That would be both of our championship leaders if he does have to.
Oh, hang on, boys. Oh, and he's going to need more than a front wing. Whoa. How did they all get through there, Marty? Sorry, that was wild.
Be patient, be patient.
He does have damage to his right front wing, Marty, Helio. He may have just gotten that, though.
Justin Wilson just made a pit stop. Here
Wilson
he comes back.
Yeah. Wilson just threw on scuff for Meds. Happy with the balance. We're side by side here.
But Townsend, that's too early for Wilson. So Bobby Rahal was correct, and he thought the cars ahead of Sato weren't going to make it. And unless there's a heap of yellow, Wilson is not going to make it to the end.
They packed that thing full of fuel. How many laps of yellow you think they need?
A lot, maybe 10.
Watch this, guys. See, Viso goes to Carpenter. Helio goes to the right. Power's already underneath Helio. They do make contact. Or Briscoe, yeah.
Briscoe really had to take evasive action.
And how did Briscoe not just... That was some great driving. Oh, this will be unbelievable. See how quick is... Like... Whoa!
Helio.
Wow. Dude!
And to set that up a little bit, guys, Helio was getting very frustrated with EJ Viso. You can see Ryan Briscoe being a little frustrated with EJ Viso as well. And once he made that pass,
looks good on TV.
He said, check my right rear. And you hear John Erickson telling him on the radio, they checked his right rear, and they said it looks good on TV. So I guess they can thank us for showing him the right rear, that it's all fine.
This is 13th and 14th. Charlie Kimball has come in for a stop and, in fact, is on his way out.
Well, this is closer. This still means you've got to idle around and save fuel, but it's still, you got to go a couple more laps if you want to make it to the end.
I'll tell you, Viso's car gets off the corner as well. That's why these Penske cars can't get around him, because he just squirts off the corners.
Firestone telemetry from Ryan Briscoe.
Briscoe makes it up under braking. See right there? I mean, that car does accelerate.
And this is the first opportunity that I think for Will Power. I think that this is the earliest that you could get in and not have to stop again.
Work completed. 31 laps remain in this race.
So if he goes 31 laps, it stays green. I think he'd go 31, but he's not going to be going fast 31.
Back to this race now for 13th and 14th, Viso and Ryan Briscoe, who again was the fastest in qualifying yesterday, but started 11th because of the Chevy penalty. And this might be a good time, Jan, to talk about exactly what happened to the Chevy that's caused all these problems and penalties.
I think I've been able to shake it out, and believe it or not, I do not believe that it's mechanical. You can say, well, what? We heard that the engines were blowing up, at least in the case at the Sonoma test with Hinchcliffe. Well, well, you know this. The engine calibration that you have, if you go a little too lean on the fuel, or maybe you get a little aggressive with the spark, you'd get detonation. So that'd be like a ping or a knock that you'd have on a road car. You do that at 12,000 RPM, you could damage the engine, damage a piston, and then sure enough, kablamo, they blow to pieces. So what I think is not necessarily clear, they replaced 11 engines with the exact same spec engine. These are not updated fixed engines, and they said, oh no, we found the problem and we're going to be fine. They didn't have to apply to IndyCar or the other manufacturers. So to me that means, aha, the calibration was off. They heard something in a previous race, figured the other ones were going to blow up. Let's put the same spec in now that we know what we've missed.
Yep. Good explanation.
Perfectly explained.
Hey, Jan, off of that, how bad will it be for Honda if they don't win this race? Oh. They spotted everybody 11 spots.
Yeah.
If they don't win this race after getting beat the first two, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how there's an excuse for that.
And Takuma Sato relinquishes the lead, Kevin.
Bobby Rahal's team has not won since the last time they were a full-time IZOD IndyCar Series team. That was 2008 with Ryan Hunter-Reay at Watkins Glen. Ryan Hunter-Reay stays out on track. Here's Sato and what should be his final stop. They still might have to save a little bit. Marty?
Guys, J.R. Hildebrand on pit road lost a lot of time at the very end of that run with a car that was very, very tight. The understeer was extreme. They put slick red tires on, and they said, pack it full of fuel. We're going to have to make it work to the very end.
Now, that was Sato going through, and Sato is ahead of Power. Okay, so that is great for Sato, because Sato can make it to the end. Power might make it to the end, and he has to save. So Sato, great strategy and great stop.
And a lot fresher tires.
Yes. Now, of course, he's not in the lead, obviously, because there are those ahead of him,
right,
like Pagenaud. But
he's in a position.
For Sato, that was nicely done.
Yeah, the leader of the race is Ryan Hunter-Reay. James Hinchcliffe running second. Pagenaud is third. Then Kanaan. And then we get to Sato, who just completed his pit stop.
And for Pagenaud, remember, when Pagenaud stopped, when I saw it, I said, no way, you can't make it to the end. So if he runs hard now, we can watch his lap times. That'll be the indicator. If he's really running fast, they know they can't make it. If he's really backpedaling, because when he pitted, I was thinking, no way.
Yeah. Clear track again. Clear track. Let's go.
Pagenaud currently in third position. He led 14 laps of this race earlier. We have had 6 leaders and 7 lead changes, 3 caution flags for a total of 12 laps. And of course, the first caution flag was brought out in turn 1 when Joseph Newgarden, who started second, crashed into the tire barrier. Kevin?
There we see Takuma Sato getting around through some traffic. Bobby Rahal is the car owner. Are you guys in the catbird seat right now?
Well, I mean, we're still, got to be careful on the fuel. I mean, with yellow makes it a golden, but we have enough to make it to the end. We just got to be a little conservative yet on the track, but so far so good.
Ryan Hunter-Reay is also coming in. All right, he's obviously closely watching what Will Power is doing. And here comes Hunter-Reay down to make a stop, and he should be able to get home the rest of the way on this one.
Right behind him is Hinchcliffe, who is running second, so first and second pit. Hinchcliffe into his pit box. Marty?
Bob, they asked him, what changes do you want with the car? He said, get these tires off of here. There's nothing left on these reds. There's sticker reds that go on. They said, run as hard as you want. You saw his teammate Ryan Hunter-Reay flash through the screen, 8.2 on the stop for Hinch, and they told him, run hard.
And here comes Ryan Hunter-Reay back in the race. And Hinchcliffe. Ryan Briscoe makes a pit stop. Team Penske driver.
So I think this thing's going to shake down to Sato versus Power. Power with less fuel, Sato with more.
Briscoe warming up the tires before he clears the speed limit. Comes the leader of the race,
who just did a 109.6? That's the answer to that question. Go on fire, because we got to stop again. And that's what you want to build a gap. Oh, and here we go. That's what we just said. Power versus Sato. But Power has less fuel to use.
He takes the spot, though. And Power goes to third. Tony Kanaan is running second. He is off pit strategy.
If Will Power can run that fast, trying to make 31 laps.
Yeah. Sato doesn't have a prayer, really.
Well, unless
Viso.
Power can't make it, and they're telling him to go.
And guys, imagine Imagine the frustration today for EJ Viso. They've had such a fast car. A little bit of trouble there on the left front, trying to get that lug on for these guys. They want to make sure it gets full of fuel, and then they told him, run as hard as you want for the rest of this race. Scuff reds on for EJ Viso. He's had a pretty good car all day long, Bob.
Yeah, he qualified 5th yesterday, but was one of those who had the penalty imposed.
And I think Power, the way, of course, that's Briscoe, but the way Power's on the power, I think he may have another stop.
And Viso comes out right beside the leader of the race, but he dispenses of him rather quickly. Simon Pagano over Tony Kanaan. 3rd is Power, 4th Sato, and 5th James Jakes. Just 25 laps to go at Long Beach. Franchitti is a lap down in 16th spot. Kind of unbelievable for the defending champion. Elio Castroneves comes back out of the pit area.
And I think our man, Mr. Takuma Sato, and Bobby Rahal have got the right plan. And I think they've given Will Power the go sign because they've realized he can't make it to the end.
So you don't think that Power has enough fuel, but Sato does?
That's what Jan is saying. and I don't think Power's not going to be able to make up that much ground in order to come in and try to beat Sato.
And our leader, Pagano, for sure has to stop. And that is why he's just out there going as fast as he possibly can at breakneck speed so he can build a gap, get in and out.
And this, of course, is all if everything stays green.
Check his gap. His gap to Sato is 14 seconds. That's not going to do it. You're going to lose 30, well, yeah, you'll lose 30 seconds minimum on this long pit lane.
Pagano, a 2-time ALMS winner here at Long Beach in 2010 and last year. There is Viso, who is in 14th spot, a lap down. Here comes Power around Simona de Silvestro. Power is 2nd, about 6 seconds behind. 3rd is Sato, who was right ahead of James Jakes. And again,
at 15 seconds behind.
Yeah.
And Power.
Jake's just doing a great job.
And you know, Bob, I don't know, I'm going to watch Power closely because it wouldn't make any sense if he was within a lap that they would tell him to go. See, now we see Sato in the picture. Now I'm thinking that he's throttled back because it would not make any sense to go, and then have to make an additional stop if he was only really needing an extra lap. That make sense?
Yeah, that's why I didn't get it to begin with when he thought it was like, let's try to get out there and build that much of a gap. Not sure he could do it. They pitted, what, 2 laps within each other, right?
Yes, but 2 laps is handy. Kevin?
Simon Pagano is definitely going to have to pit. Will Power, I asked him, Cindric, if they can make it, and he said, we're going to try, but he put his 2 fingers together and said, it's going to be very close. He keeps telling Will Power on the radio, think about nothing else but saving fuel right now.
Okay, well, there's your answer. But did it not seem like Will Power, when he passed Sato, just took off and left him? And then maybe now they've reassessed and said, whoa, hang on, buddy, that's too much fuel. But at night, I guess that's what you do. You take your track position and then slow down.
Power won most recently at Barber. The Chevys were all penalized 10 grid positions. Here's how they're running now. Power is in 2nd, Barrichello 6th, and down the line, Elio running 12th. Of course, Andretti is out of the race and will finish in 25th spot.
And of course, Robin Miller made a great point that if for some reason, in fact, Will Power can save the kind of fuel that we thought wasn't possible at that kind of speed, and he ends up winning this thing, Honda's got to be thinking, what do we got to do? I mean, we spotted the entire group, 10 spots.
There's the leader, Simon Pagano. Will have to pit before the end of the race. His advantage over Will Power is about 15.5 seconds now. We're on lap 66. At at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. We're on board with J.R. Hildebrand, who is in a good battle with Justin Wilson. Wilson is 5th. Hildebrand is 6th. Now, James Jakes lost a couple of positions a lap or two ago. He got off course a little bit and lost some spots, but he's only back to the 7th spot. And there is Hildebrand moving to the inside of Wilson and taking that position.
I think Wilson just lost a couple spots, but I think he's giving them away. I think he's probably on fuel conserve right now.
Yeah, both these guys are Wilson and Jakes. I just talked to Dale Coyne. I said, does Wilson need a yellow? He nodded, yeah, with a sigh. So they're saving it like they need to right now, but I think they're going to need a 3rd stop.
There is Rubens Barrichello, who the lap of 4 passed Justin Wilson, and Barrichello has moved up to 4th position, and it's good to see the 19-year Formula One veteran doing well in the IndyCar Series. I mentioned at the luncheon that I did here in Long Beach on Thursday that viewership in Brazil is up 40% in the first 2 races of this year, the IZOD IndyCar Series, and I said about 39.9% of that was because of Rubens Barrichello. And the Brazil fans had a chance to see Formula One racing earlier today, and now they're watching their hero, Rubens Barrichello, in the IZOD IndyCar Series.
-3 to Simona, Rubens, -3.
Pretty rough around this place, though. Very bumpy. You can see the cars especially under braking. The braking zones here are really, really rough.
Now, Rubens stopped 1 lap even before Will Power. So, you know, I'm starting to think here that it may not be an even fight. You have Chevrolet versus Honda, and I think Chevrolet, not only may they not have... Okay, and there's the Pagenaud pit we're expecting.
Pagenaud takes the car into the pit area from the lead, and that's going to turn the lead over to Will Power.
And I think that what I was starting to say was for Will Power, this will be quick on fuel.
He had a 19.5-second lead when he came in the pits.
Yep. There's Power.
There's Power.
And Sato goes by. Just saw the blue and white. He's just come by. He's P3. All right, so they're doing the same thing we are. They're coaching him through. Who's good? Here comes Barrichello, P4. Barrichello past me. Hildebrand. Oh, and he might get... No, Barrichello should be much quicker at speed.
Yeah, you got to...
But not bad. That shows you why you want to build a gap before you pit. What I was kind of trying to slide in there is I think that Chevrolet, when you see what Will Power can do, they've obviously been strong at the beginning of this year. I think now they're showing their muscle in fuel economy because we're seeing that Chevrolet versus Honda with Sato, and the way he drove away from him, you're thinking, well, surely they're not on same fuel strategy, but that's very impressive.
So Pagenaud comes out in 4th ahead of J.R. Hildebrand, with whom we ride. James Jakes in the red, white, and blue car just behind Hildebrand.
You can hear him lift off early. That means anytime you're in fuel safe mode, if you have a little coast zone before when you lift off the throttle and hit the brake, you can kind of get that coast sensation as you approach that corner. That's fuel safe mode.
And Jan, how about this day for J.R. Hildebrand, currently in the 5th position, and this is a guy who's not finished better than 15th this year. He told me Friday, he said, we've really improved our road and street course program, showing right now up in the 5th spot. They've had a car that's been a little bit too much understeer for him all day long, but doing a nice job right now.
Just got to be careful on that coast, especially when you've got somebody like Jakes right behind you, you know, to coast into those braking zones like that. That's hard to do when you're a race car driver.
Yeah.
Hildebrand in his only IZOD IndyCar Series start last year here. Finished 17th. I'm sure he's anxious to get back to Indianapolis, where hopefully he can make another quarter of a lap and win the 500. Crashing in turn 4 on the last lap of last year's race. As a rookie. Will Power leads the race by about 4 seconds over Takuma Sato. Barrichello was third, then Pagenaud and J.R. Hildebrand. The streets of Long Beach, California are alive with the sound of race cars. For the 38th time, the Grand Prix of Long Beach underway. In fact, we have only 14 laps to go in this race. Watching Charlie Kimball, Ryan Hunter-Reay, Justin Wilson, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And back in 9th is Hinchcliffe in green.
Hunter-Reay's going to take a look back under Kimball.
Yikes. Well, he got it. Hunter-Reay moves to 6th.
And Wilson's going to take a look.
Yeah.
Just a look. See Hinchcliffe in there.
Yep.
Now, behind you saw Simona De Silvestro, and she's receiving a penalty. So I believe that's the first drive-through penalty we've seen. Here was the move, Pagenaud to the inside of Barrichello.
And Pagenaud moves to 3rd there. Rubens back to 4th position.
He's got a drive-through for what?
For blocking.
Oh, for blocking.
So, to my knowledge, that's the first actual penalty that we're going to see served for Simona De Silvestro.
Oh, okay.
See her, she was in the back of that shot there. There must have been something that happened prior that Bo Barfield didn't like. And she's doing a drive-through.
The other car in this gaggle is Tony Kanaan back in the blue car. He's 10th.
You can go as hard as you want in position 2. Go as hard as you want in position 2. Catch up to JR.
Hey, Simona's done more than a drive-through. She's on pit lane, and they're checking the motor.
This group here is about 20 seconds behind the leader of Will Power.
We've only got 10 laps to go. We're going to take another break here so that we can finish the race for you uninterrupted. Will it be Will Power, who may have to stop for fuel, or Takuma Sato running 2nd, that wins this race? Back at Long Beach, California, and the 38th Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach for the IZOD IndyCar Series. Only 8 laps to go, and Will Power has a 5.5-second lead over Takuma Sato.
So, I mean, really, the big question we're looking at here is, and we're all talking during the break, does Power have enough fuel, or doesn't it?
And I think when you watch on the track that they are too smart. Tim Cindric and company, he's under no pressure. You can see there's no way that he has any reason to push unless he's got plenty of fuel in hand.
Rubens Barrichello gives up 4th position for his final stop, Kevin.
No tires. It's going to be fuel only for Rubens Barrichello. Keep in mind, he came in only 1 lap earlier than Will Power. He said that's been one of the biggest challenges coming over here in Formula One. You don't work on saving fuel. Obviously, the others like Will Power can do it a lot better. I'm hearing it's still going to be close on Power, but it sounds like they're pretty optimistic that he's going to make the finish.
That's 7 laps of fuel.
Yeah, how can one driver,
that's a lot.
7 laps? That's what's so amazing about Power. How can he drive away from Sato, who pitted earlier, who Sato pitted later, and he drives away from him, and now they think they can make it on fuel. That's impressive by Chevrolet and by Will Power.
Yeah, we're not at lap 85 yet.
No. But I'm saying they're...
But yeah, to even consider it.
If they didn't think they were going to be making it, he would be standing on it and he'd be doing qualifying style laps. But he's not. He's just comfortably running faster than Sato,
yeah,
who
had a second a lap.
who had fuel in hand.
Yeah.
This is for position. So here's a guy we know pitted later. He's going to do it here in turn 1. Listen to the crowd.
Pagenaud takes 2nd.
That got him fired up.
Wow. You might see on the rear wing of Takuma Sato's car worldwide pants. That, of course, is David Letterman's company, and he is part owner of the car that Takuma Sato drives.
Now, that is what you would expect.
Yeah.
That's one guy saving fuel.
6 seconds.
And another person not. And that's the kind of difference we're used to seeing. Right? But
wow,
the way,
look at the gap.
I know.
He's pulled on. We'll take a look at lap times right now. Pagenaud is quicker than Power.
You're good. You're good all the way.
That's Rob Edwards telling him he's good all the way.
Still got to make up 6 seconds on that man right there.
Which is no small task.
Yes, right now. I'll let you know when you get to start finish.
This is going to be good.
Guys, he's hustling. You know, he closed down on Sato at a second and a half a lap, so this absolutely could come down to the end here.
Yes, on fuel. We'll do it 71.5.
Kind of watch lap times this time. See.
You've got fuel.
And guys, Tim Cindric telling Will Power on the radio right now, Pagenaud coming very hard. You're 5 laps to go, plus 5 seconds. I don't think he told him he's gaining a second.
Yeah, exactly, Marty.
He left that part out.
I think I'd want to be in Pagenaud's spot.
Absolutely.
I'd much rather be chasing the rabbit at this point than having to worry about going fast enough and saving fuel.
And this is a great Honda Chevrolet battle. It's what Robin mentioned earlier. After getting the gimme, so to speak, it is probably going to come down. These cars should close up, and it could be a shootout. And again, it's kind of an engineering exercise. Okay, I stop more times than you, but I'm at a higher speed.
Charlie Kimball's in. He's having such a great run.
Yeah, guys, I'm standing right down here in Bourdais' pit. His motor is running, I think. Maybe it's a transmission issue. He can't get it into gear.
That's a bummer.
Pretty good battle there between Hildebrand and Hinchcliffe for 6th.
And they just told James Hinchcliffe on the radio, be very careful. Justin Wilson might run out of fuel, and there he goes, diving to pit road, guys.
And Pagenaud just did a 109.7. That is that's more than a second faster than Power.
And Tim Cindric just told Will Power on the radio, you can pick it up a little bit.
How could he do that?
Here we go. Oh, Tony Kanaan taking a look.
Trying to get around Hildebrand.
It is just astonishing to me that they tell Will Power you can pick it up a little bit. Rubens Barrichello, who stopped only 1 lap before, has had to pit many laps ago.
That blows me away. 7 laps.
How you can be that much better on fuel? That's astonishing.
Tony Kanaan has turned his season around after getting off to a very bad start on both the races. And here he is.
Wow, that was close. Kanaan's right there. Yeah, he's going to take a. He's going to take a. Oh,
but he's going to make
it do it on the outside.
Long way around. Easy.
Gets the spot.
Nicely done.
Kanaan up to 6th.
Pagenaud just under 3 seconds behind Power now. Power's going to catch a little traffic, too.
Oh, EJ
That's definitely come into play. We know how easy Viso is to get by. Boy, this is what Pagenaud wants to see.
And we're coming up on 2 laps to go. Team Penske versus Schmidt Hamilton Motorsports. Sam Schmidt and Davey Hamilton own the car that Simon Pagenaud is in 2nd place in. Marty.
Well, guys, Tim Cindric just told Will Power in the lead, go as hard as you want for these final 2 laps. I think we'll have the fuel to make it.
How can they do that? Kevin?
Will Power, as Marty said, he can go hard the rest of the way. Pagenaud's been able to go hard for a while, and Takuma Sato has just been told, save, save, save. If we get there, we're going to be on the podium. Ryan Hunter-Reay chasing him has very few fuel concerns either.
Oh, here's the traffic.
There's a leader behind you. Be careful. Let him go.
Jimmy Vasser just said on the radio, Bob, let the leaders go. Let the leaders go to EJ Viso.
Pagenaud has to get through by Catherine Lake first. He does.
Oh, he's gaining. He made some ground up right here.
But Power's still behind Viso.
All right, EJ, I want you to let the leader go.
Gonna be close, folks. Coming down for the white flag.
One more lap.
Officially 1.085 seconds separates first and second on the last lap, and Power will get by Viso into turn 1, putting Viso between himself and second place Pagano.
That could have cost Pagano unless Viso just pulls out of the way right here.
And he did.
He does. Nice. Good.
Oh, he's coming. But the fact that they told Power that he could stand on it.
Yeah.
And we heard at the same time Bobby Rahal tell Sato, save, 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 and Sato stopped later. That, to me, is unbelievable.
I really didn't think he had enough
well,
fuel.
You know, they want to do, and Sato's in trouble.
Sato, third place.
He was going to be on the podium.
Oh, man. Not going to have enough because they're in the hairpin on the last lap, and here comes off the corner Will Power and Pagano. And Power is saying, penalty? What penalty? I don't need a penalty. I start 12th and win the 38th Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Whoa.
That's hard to believe.
He came from 9th at Barber, comes from 12th today to win.
Right on, Simon. Good job.
Woo. Look at this gaggle.
Teammates.
Catherine Legg and Sebastian Bourdais. Ed Carpenter is there.
That's Castro Neves
and Wilson taking a look. Whoa. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
now there's no place to go.
Barrichello gets spun, and it's a track blocker.
Track's blocked at hairpin.
Yes, it is.
Be very careful at the hairpin.
Key here is if somebody can navigate their way through that little slot, they're going to pick up a ton of positions.
Serbia also involved in that, and James Jakes. Wow. But how about Takuma Sato on the last lap when he had a podium within sight? Here's what happened. He was under pressure from Ryan Hunter-Reay and some contact, it would appear, from Ryan Hunter-Reay. The last time Rahal Letterman raced here at Long Beach was in 2003. Michel Jourdain was the driver, started on the pole, finished 15th. Go, Marty.
Well, Bob, I'm wondering if Tim Cindric has any fingernails left. You okay?
Yeah, I mean, that's willpower for you. You can tell him what you need all day long. And, you know, we got through the adversity there with the 77, knocking the tire out of the way on the first stop, or it would have been a lot easier than what it was. But, you know, you tell him what he needs to do, and he does it. And this team, you know, they never quit. And we knew this race wasn't over until we got it over with.
So let's get down to how it happened. How was he able to keep distance on Sato and yet save fuel?
Yeah, again, it's just we tell him a fuel number, and he knows the lap time he needs to do, and we did a great job. I think, you know, Robbie and Dave with the fuel, they knew exactly where to go, and our strategy was really to be sure that we had enough fuel to go to the end there and push hard. We saw Pagano coming, so it's a great day for the Verizon program.
You finally have a problem. Your car can't get to victory lane. There's a traffic jam, Tim.
It's either traffic jam or he's out of fuel. I don't know, one or the other.
It's a traffic jam, I'll tell you. They can't get through. Nice win for the Penske boys.
Yeah, but he's getting out of the car. He may be out of fuel. Yeah, traffic jam is one thing, but...
And the captain, Roger Penske, celebrates yet another victory. Team Penske has won all 3 races so far this year. And power is stopped because of the track blocking incident involving Barrichello, Castro Neves, Serbia, and Jakes. But it's Will Power's 17th career win, his 2nd consecutive this year, and his 2nd win at Long Beach. He also was victorious here in 2008. If he makes it to victory lane, we'll talk to him when we come back to Long Beach. The Grand Prix of Long Beach has been run, and the winner is Will Power, coming from 12th position, given a 10 grid penalty because he drove a Chevy engine yesterday, but it made no difference. Power only led 15 laps, but he led the most important one, the 85th and final one. Simon Pagano finished 2nd and actually led most laps, 26. Let's go to Townsend Bell.
Hey guys, down here with Simon Pagenaud. He had a 3-stop this one and get after it on the 3rd stint there. Simon, heck of a day. You were coming back strong. We thought you might get Will at the end. What was it like?
Man, it was great. The car was fantastic. The guys did such a good job. You know, it's a one-car team operation, and we're fighting against Penske and Ganassi. So, you know, my hat off to everybody at Sam Schmidt Hamilton Racing, and the HP car was just amazing today. At Long Beach, I really love this place, and I mean, it's you know, one more lap, I would have tried to give him a little bit of a hard time.
So you had a close call on the first stop. You hit a tire when you were leaving the pits. Do you remember hitting that?
Yeah, I did it. I know I did, but I thought somebody was coming, so I was trying to. Yes, I know I did, but it was the side. But you know, those cars are really strong now, so it was okay.
All right. Well, I made it to the end, guys. Great podium finish for Sam Schmidt, HP, and Simon Pagenaud.
And Ryan Hunter-Reay finishes in 3rd position, but he has been given a 30-second penalty because of avoidable contact. Let's talk with him.
Well, let's get his reaction to that fair penalty when you hit Sato. Was it fair to penalize you 30 seconds?
I don't know. I'll have to look at it. I was told he was saving fuel, and it looked like he was, but he broke so early going in there that I went for the inside, and I figured he'd give me a little bit of room. You know, inside there, I raced a lot of guys side by side today, and we gave each other a lot of room. And then
there's a replay.
I thought he'd give me a bit of room, and he just shut the door. But hey, you know, I wasn't fully alongside of him, so I guess that's my fault. I'll have to, you know, think about the penalty where it puts us. But we ran such a great race all day. You know, to end up with that on the last lap's really a shame. And these guys did a great job. I love coming here. Anytime we don't win here, it feels like a big disappointment. So for sure, it was a good car today, pretty good car, and it was a tough race with a lot of wheel-to-wheel action out there today. A lot of clean racing that I really enjoyed. That's a shame the last deal with Sato there. I'll have to go talk to him.
And that puts you in 6th, I'm being told. So Ryan Hunter-Reay, a little disappointed, but he does finish 6th. Bob?
There's the winning car and the driver, Will Power. They have finally made it back here to the pit area. Yeah, James Hinchcliffe finishes in 3rd position. Townsend.
Yeah, Bob, I'm standing down here with James, and James, beneficiary there of Ryan's penalty, but you had a strong run. Pretty cool to come back and get a podium here.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I feel really bad for Ryan because he drove such a great race, and I mean, I owe him a lot. I was following him through a lot of those passes he was making. He sort of helped me get up to that spot, so it sucks to get it at the expense of him, but, you know, great day for the crew. It was really the calls, you know. They made great calls all day. Those yellows early sort of threw everybody off, and it was just awesome for the GoDaddy crew. The car was great. I think my fastest lap was the second last lap of the race, so we're pushing to the end, and somebody just reminded me I made a bet with Wade Cunningham, in the IndyCar driver, that my first podium I'd have to come to the next race clean shaven. So I guess for Brazil, you guys are going to see babyface Hinchcliffe coming out.
Any chance we can get the whole head?
I don't think my mom would let me do that, if I'm honest. She'd probably disown me from the family.
What about if you win Indy?
If I win Indy, I'll shave my head.
All right, we got a deal right now. Back up to you guys.
It's James' best career finish in the IZOD IndyCar Series. He had finished 4th 4 times previous, but today he stands on the podium and has his best career finish for James Hinchcliffe. Tony Kanaan has a great 4th place finish. Hildebrand 5th, then Hunter-Reay. Briscoe 7th. Takuma Sato with the last lap contact drops back to 8th. Barrichello with another top 10 finish, and Elio Castroneves finishes in 10th position. There's the traditional leap off the car for Will Power. Kevin?
Well, an impressive drive for Will Power. You won from 9th a couple of weeks ago. 12th is Tim Cindric, who called his strategy, comes in to congratulate him. Let's be honest, coming into this race, were you thinking, let's get up front and score some points, or did you still think you could win this race?
After last week, you know, you can never say never, but I thought it would be very tough to win the race. But once again, good strategy, ran hard when we had to, and you know, at the end there we had to save so much fuel to get there. But man, so happy for the Verizon guys, you know, and the Chevy guys. We just worked hard. We got a penalty and we overcome it, and been trying to win this race for 4 years, and now I've done it. So I'm all out of energy. I was running up and down in front of the crowd, but that was just a very, very one of my best wins, I reckon. I loved it.
I guess Chevy made the right decision. Go ahead and changing the engines then.
Yeah, no question. I mean, it was precautionary, and you know, we had to do it, but we did our best.
How did you save so much fuel and still be able to hold some people off and get around some people early on in that last stint?
Yeah, well, I actually used some fuel to get around people, then, you know, Tim was telling me you've got to save fuel, and just did everything I could to be as quick as I could while saving fuel, and that was the result.
Congratulations, win number 2 of the season for Will Power, and I believe he's the new points leader.
He is, and Roger Penske has his 5th win here at Long Beach, his first since Helio Castroneves drove to victory in 2001. So Will Power wins his 17th career victory here at Long Beach. Stay with us for more. We'll be right back. Very entertaining race here in the streets of Long Beach, California, as Will Power comes from 12th starting position to win, and the sportsmanship was on display. Here comes Simon Pagenaud up alongside. He finished 2nd, but gives the thumbs up and congratulates Will Power on a great victory here this afternoon. Here's the 4th place finisher who had a great afternoon down to Townsend Bell.
Yeah, guys, down here with Tony Kanaan. He started, 19th today, ended up 4th. How did you do that?
Oh, it was a great strategy. I was committed to do a 3-stop from the get-go, Townsend. As we started at 19th, I chose the blacks to start, and I said, first window we have to get off of them. Let's get off and try to get some track position. So my race was really fun because I pushed the entire race. I qualified the entire race. I passed 6 or 7 guys. A couple guys crashed. A couple guys had to pit, and it was great. I mean, coming into Long Beach, dead last in the championship, that never, ever had happened to me. So I had to take myself out of that.
Well, you picked up some valuable points. I'm noticing a couple of gray hairs here in the scruff. It looks kind of like what I see when I look in the mirror. Is this too stressful, this IndyCar stuff for you now?
I think we're just getting old, man. We go back a long ways. We won't tell the viewers, but, you know, I think this is, they say you get older, you get wiser, so I guess I would go like that.
Well, clearly up in the points now. Hopefully the stress abates a little bit heading into Brazil.
Well, I don't think the stress is going to abate for Takuma Sato. You got your season's best finish, but you had much better steering down a career best finish. What happened with the contact with Ryan Hunter-Reay?
Well, to be honest, we haven't finished yet. I haven't seen the checkouts for Agate this year. The race was awesome. I mean, it's a great excitement from right beginning to start, and every time restart overtook like crazy, and it was a very, very good call from the team too. We're working hard for the strategy, but in the end, we're working onto the fuel mileage, and Ryan caught me up, and I mean, I just couldn't believe he wasn't not deep enough for the overtaking maneuver. He could have another chance for the back straight, but you know, he's just very disappointed not finishing.
I did tell him that Ryan Hunter-Reay said that he would be coming by to apologize, and he said that's not going to mean very much. Takuma Sato very disappointed with an 8th place finish. Back with more from Long Beach here in just a moment.
The unofficial results for today's race: the Chevy drivers were penalized 10 grid positions, and they take 8 of the top 10 finishing spots.
Yeah, that's a spanking right there.
They did with
Chevy
power,
did on Honda.
yeah, power, and they also had incredible fuel economy in the case of Will Power.
James Jakes has his best career finish, 12th. He was 13th at Motegi last year, but this is his best finish. But look at Dario, the defending and 4-time champion, finishes 2 laps down in 15th position. Simona De Silvestro was out of the race at its conclusion, and so were these 6 drivers. Joseph Newgarden started on the front row, was out on the first lap. Marco Andretti and Graham Rahal in a spectacular crash that saw Marco almost flip over. Scott Dixon with another poor finish for the Hondas. Here are the points, and look at this. Will Power gains 2 to go to the top. Simon Pagenaud gains 2. J.R. Hildebrand gains 9 positions into 10th, but the big mover was Tony Kanaan as he moved up 15 positions just outside the top 10 in 11 spots. So Tony Kanaan finishes in 11th in the points. Stay tuned. Coverage of the 2012 Stanley Cup playoffs is next. Game 2 between the Devils and the Panthers. The IZOD IndyCar Series continues on the NBC Sports Network. Join us in 2 weeks, Sunday the 29th at 11 a.m. for the Sao Paulo Indy 300. For more information on the IZOD IndyCar Series, log on to NBCSports.com. For Jan Beekes, Wally Dallenbach, Townsend Bell, Kevin Lee, Robin Miller, Marty Snyder, I'm Bob Jenkins. See you in 2 weeks for the Sao Paulo 300.